They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. Raw Molly got me all up in demon mode. Mouth moving like I done put clean in my nose. Tryna catch me up, I can leave with some hoes. He standing straight up, watch I make him lean with this pole. Would've thought he was closed, how that heat made him fold. Thought it was a game, he won't think no more. His brain's gone, nigga. It be exciting when I get to striking. Guns sound like thunder, hit you like lightning. Fight for your life, we don't do no fighting. We really hit it, nigga. We worse than savage, they calling us Vikings. Police be riding, we still be sliding. Told you we hit us, remember the time. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. How about I leave them holding like the Bible? AR-15, that's a high-power rifle. A in the army and assassinate rivals. Break that shit down, nigga. AK or anybody kill. Hop out, get the drilling and spilling. Stay on point, 6-2 gon' split 'em. FN, that's for any fuck nigga. You a plug, then I'm pulling up, nigga. You my lunch, eat these bullets for dinner. 5.0, eat 'em up, eat 'em up. SK, smoke killer for show. Drum rounds and cripple ops Draco. I got 'em all, you don't want no. I got all those shit, nigga. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get this pussy, leave a nigga bleeding. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get this squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding.
Salute, salute, salute. Salute to Shawar. Salute to Key Alexander, Ty Swindle, Just Do, All Things, 2 Cent. Salute to all the kings and princesses in the building. Salute. How everybody doing today? I said, how everybody doing? The PGB Big Dog, salute. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me, man. We about to go up in here today. All right. First and foremost, if you was on for 9 earlier, I went over this earlier. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Right now, it's a drought in content out here in the boxing world. So you have fake people out here putting out fake news. And see, the way they do it, it ain't about who's right. It's about who's first. And see, they trying to push a narrative to block other narratives that's out there. One, they saying Frank Martin is talking about leaving Derrick James. That's not true. Antonio Brown, salute, King. Next, they talking about Earl tried to juke Frank Martin. That's not true. Then they say PBC doing it. Listen, what we're gonna do, it's about prize fighting. That's what it's called. It's about making money. It's about dollars and cents. For one thing, listen, Al Heyman, he plays chess, not checkers. They have spent time building Frank Martin's name up and building his appearance. Just to waste it on a Shakur fight that's only getting what? John Kramer, salute, King. Let me drop the link just in case anybody want to get up here with me. I see my boy Just Do out there, man. Salute, King. Yeah, I found a better time now. Just Do that way I can always get off on time for you, bro. Yep. Let me post this out here. For one, Earl and Frank has a different type of bond. You know, Frank's great for the Earl. Earl is a astute businessman, for one. Aaron Muhammad, salute, King. Just like Earl and Derrick has a different type of bond. See, y'all so used to people being cutthroat and out here doing people any type of way that y'all think everybody do that. It's some people that have principles and morals. It's some people, that's why they call it the truth. It's the reason why some people have fan bases and some people they put their chest out there and do anything they can and still can't get a fan base. Yeah, I'm throwing shots right now. But listen, Derek James has Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo has another trainer called Juan Guzman, who's been training him to take over some of the load from Derek James. Earl Spence is even looking into getting another trainer for another set of eyes, as well as Frank Martin. One trainer on 5 or 6 different fighters is a handful. If you look at all the other gyms, look at Bomax Gym. They got 4 trainers. It's good to have more than just one eye out there. Yes, Derek tried to do the load by himself right now, but now Derek sees that he can't see everything. And he's a humble man, and he understands that. So it's no problem because Derek James is the head trainer. It's okay to get outside help in there, and Derek understands that, and he's admits to that fact. That's for one. For two, Frank Martin is an investment. And they talking about Frank get 1 million, Shakur get 5 million. That's not plausible. Because if you say that, that means that Frank is getting 85 to 15%. That's basically what that boils down to. 1 million to 5 million. That's 85, 15%. No fighter of Frank's caliber is going to say that Shakur is 85% better than me. No. Now, 60-40, I understand. Even 65-35, I would agree. Al Booger, salute. Snoopy Mac, salute. Aaron Muhammad, salute. So it's about money. And see, Frank Martin has been built. And, you know, he's had good fights. And for two, he's also Tank's mandatory. So if Frank Martin had to fight Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis, win or lose, if he could win or lose either fight, 50-50 both fights, which fight would he get more paid off of? Which would be more lucrative investment? So if Earl was really trying to cash Frank Martin out, he would have took the top ranked deal and sent them out there. Why cash out a great fighter like Frank Martin for $1 million? That type of money don't get Earl excited. Earl just made over $30 million in one fight. Earl's been making that money. Frank Martin has been making money. If Frank fights Tank Martin, the least that he would get is about 6-7 million. That's the least. Matter of fact, if Tank and Frank Martin go into a purse bid, I mean, not a purse bid, if Tank gives Frank Martin 75-25, even if 75-25, listen, or if Tank gives him 80-20, that fighter do at least 500,000 buys, at least 20 million gate, right? That's a 70 million fight. That's Tank getting 40-50, and that's Frank getting 10 million. And Tank can get 60 million. That's still 1,000% more than what Shakur was trying to give him, what Bob Arum was trying to give him. And Frank's just not no Rudy Poo fighter. Frank's done beat Rivera, he's beat Artyom, he's Marinez, and he's beat them impressively. Frank is moving up the ladder. This is the same Frank that dropped Virgil Ortiz in boxing. Yes. Yes, John Kramer. EJ made about 40 M's. I say he made at least 30. But yeah, he made about 40 M's. So he doesn't need to cash Frank Martin out. That's for one. And for two, Derek James know that he's limited. So now he's expanding the boxing because it's better to have more than one eye in there anyway. That way you can see more. That way y'all can do more. And Derek James, y'all should know Derek James is an astute individual. He's a smart brother. Derek James is not dumb. But people come out here because they're not getting these clicks and views. That see, they coming off that Earl and Crawford wave. See, a lot of content creators have been living off that Earl Spence and Crawford money for 2-3 years now. And I admit, that Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford money was giving you views. It was giving you all types of money. I've seen people build up channels in 2 weeks off Earl and Crawford content. So people done got used to that. And now that it's a drought in boxing where a lot of content ain't getting that type of views, people are getting thirsty. So now they just sitting back thinking of what kind of story can I push? What kind of lie can I push? See, you can say I heard it from such and such, or I heard, like my man Champ Side used to say, sources. It's always sources say, but they never tell you who the sources is. It's always I heard it from somebody that heard it from somebody, but they can't put the source out there. You know what that's called? It's called a lie. It's called propagating the truth. It's what Tom Capture does. It's what Rick Glazier does. They lie and disrespect the truth, and they push a narrative. And fans are so quick. A1 Hoops on, salute, King. Snoopy Mac, salute. And fans are so quick to believe the worst about the PBC or Earl Spence that they gravitate to it. And it's crazy. Crawford won the fight, but it seems like Crawford fans are bitter because Earl fans ain't leave Earl. We not wishy-washy. They want Earl to lose everything. Oh, Earl lost to Crawford. Now he lost his fans. Nope. We still here. We still ride. We still waiting on Big Fish revenge. And that's something else they ain't talking about. Why is Crawford considering fighting at 147? When you know Earl can't make 147. You complain about not getting the best Earl. But now if you don't get the money, you're going to put him in a handicap position. Now, that's not the heart of a champion to me. And then you want more money. The first fight you got more money than you was entitled to. The lawyers, everybody said no. Walk away from this guy. He's crazy. He doesn't deserve a pension of this money. But Earl, being true to the fans, to give us what we want, he said, get that man anything he needs to make the fight. And that's why Earl has the fans that he has. Because Earl is willing to make the fight. He's not trying to song and dance. He's not trying to pimp the industry out. And see, that's what Bud's about to find out the hard way. He has an exaggerated self-worth. He think he's the man now that he beat Earl. Boxing-wise, yes, you beat Earl. You was the top dog now. But just because you're the top dog don't make you the top seller. You still got to cross that hurdle. And with your attitude and the way you behave, a lot of fans is not rocking with that. And I'm just being honest. A lot of fans don't respect it. A lot of fans don't like being played with, lied to, or running games with. Fans respect the truth. They respect you going out and doing what you say you're going to do. They respect you making the fights. And yes, you made the fight. You beat Earl. Congratulations. But where do you go from there? Are we going to go through another long-ass negotiation for you to get back in the ring with Earl? Or are you going to man up, take the fight at 154, and give us the damn lick back? That's what I want to know. Coach Amber, salute. That's what I want to know. Are you going to sit there and come fight, or are you going to play games again? Because I'm at the point now, if he's not trying to fight, I'm not even willing to go through this song and dance with him again. You know what I'm saying? Like, the reason why a lot of Crawford fans is mad, and we're going to keep it real, because they can say what they want to say. They can say exactly what they want to say. But they know that they didn't see the Earl Spence that they wanted to see out there. Even them, deep in their hearts, they can say what they have to say. They can push the narrative. They can scream. They can rage. They can do everything they want to do. But in their hearts of hearts, they know that they didn't see the best Earl had. They know that they didn't see the Yadanis Ugas Earl. They know they didn't see the Lamont Peterson Earl, the Sean Porter Earl, the Kell Brook Earl. They know they got a shell of an Earl, and it's rubbing them the wrong way because they want to enjoy their victory, but they know the victory is tainted. They know it's tainted because They know how long it took to make the fight. They may push the narrative and act like Bud didn't do a lot of things before the fight, but they know. And that's what makes them so mad, because in their heart of hearts, they know. They knew how it was to try to get this fight. They knew the Avernesians. They knew I signed everything. They know all this. And that's why they're so bitter and disgruntled when they got the win. See, even in defeat, Earl is still giving him the middle finger, basically. Because you didn't get the best Earl. You didn't get the Earl that everybody say. So now everybody's sitting there saying it's something wrong with Earl. And that's taking the light off of the victory that they got. Exactly, 2 Cent. That's why I don't even watch. You know why, Key Alexander? Because Bud understands that he's dealing with a whole new animal now. See, Earl was complacent. Earl was like he said before, 50% of him is better than 100% of these welterweights. And now Earl realized that 50% of him isn't better than 100% of these welterweights. 50% of him is just 50% of him, and he got his ass whooped. So now Earl has to go back to that old nigga with the shag that wanted it bad. See, that money had got him complacent. Now his pride's on the line. And pride is worth more than money to some individuals. Pride is worth more than money. And Earl has all the capabilities to get in there and destroy Bud. People said, no, look at Earl. But before that fight, you couldn't say that. And see, a lot of people sitting there saying that British Prescott would beat Earl. Like, they don't even look at the narratives that they're saying. They're pushing these dumbass rhetorics, trying to justify the fact. And even they know it's stupid. Even they know it's stupid. I've done dropped videos. I done showed the definition in Earl's body from his last fights to this fight. Earl had no ab definition. He had no tone. His muscle tone was off. Even Bud took Earl Spence's shots and said, where was the power? Earl was flailing around with Bud Crawford in the ring. The same Bud Crawford that got dropped by Mean Machine, that got rocked by Gamboa, that got knocked across the ring by Jose Benavidez. The same Bud. But like I said, I ain't making an excuse. But Bud, you're making an excuse when you're talking about more money to go to 154. Yes, you are the top dog in skill words. In skill, you are the top dog as of now. But you never be the top dog where it comes to money. Earl is still the biggest seller. Earl is still the bigger draw. Canelo's still entertaining a fight with Earl Spence, but Canelo said he does not want to fight Terrence Crawford. He said it's not worth it. The fight's not big enough. This is Canelo's words. John Kramer, I believe Earl can do it. You got to realize, John, Earl has been in one fight in 3 years. Like, before the Ugas fight, he prepared for Manny Pacquiao. Then he had the layoff. Then he had the Ugas fight. That was 20-some months in between. Then, after the Ugas fight, Earl was ready. He had got the cobwebs off of him. But he sat there and waited an additional 16 months. And when you get older, you have to keep your body active. An active body is a body in motion. When your body's in motion, it moves more fluidly, John. Like when you got a car, as it gets older, you just can't crank it up. When it's cold outside, you have to crank it up and let it warm up. And that's the way boxers is. You know, Hector Camacho, he beat Sugar Ray Leonard after Sugar Ray Leonard had a layoff. Sugar Ray Leonard's skill set and Camacho's skill set are way different. It's a vast chasm of differentness. But with that layoff, we see what happened. Bob Thomas, if you was a boxer, if they fought at 140, Earl would destroy British Prescott. He would destroy British Prescott. There's nothing on here that says that British Prescott could have did a thing. Think about Kell Brook. Think about Lamont Peterson. Think about Emmanuel Larte Earl. He would have popped British Prescott ass. And we're not going to sit there and act like he wouldn't have. Like, y'all looking at Earl's last fight, and y'all thinking, man, Earl done. Like, that Earl ain't nothing. Use your mind. That's why we have eyes. You know, and that's why we have our mind so we can comprehend. You know when you see something that's not right. Just like when AJ got in the fight, he said his body was off, he couldn't do nothing, and he came back and won, right? Just like Wilder in the second fight wasn't the same Wilder in the third fight. Like, it's fighters have off nights. James Buster Douglas beat Tyson, and Evander Holyfield eviscerated Buster Douglas. Tyson would have eviscerated Buster Douglas, but that night he did not. He didn't take Buster serious. He was out there partying. Just like I felt like if Keith Thurman would have got some rest and he took Manny Pacquiao more seriously, he would have eviscerated Pacquiao, an old-ass Pacquiao. I really believe that. Because you see, he fought all the way back. But Keith was up all night gambling. Yeah, exactly, Daryl Thigpen, because Bud don't realize that PBC's going to show him. Without Earl, he really has no big fight. Earl Spence is the biggest fight Bud has, and the only fight that's going to make him the money that he's looking for. And he's done milked the cow already the first fight. He done milked the cow the first fight. So they're not going to give him more than he got the first fight. What they're going to do is give him both a guarantee, and what y'all do on pay-per-view, that's what you get. And see, Bud doesn't even know what he sells. He's coming off a 650,000 pay-per-view buy with Earl Spence. The same Bud that did 170,000 with Sean Porter, who had just did over 300,000 with Spence. So that 170,000, we can at least say half was Porter. The same Bud that didn't crack 100,000 with three of his other fights, that did a 500,000 gate and 10,000 pay-per-view buys with David Aronesian. We just got his number before the fight. 500,000 gate and under 10,000 pay-per-view buys. That's an abysmal fight. Fight TV does more numbers than that. That's why BLK went bankrupt for the 12th time. Because they put it out there on that right there and they got destroyed. They thought Bud was a seller and he didn't. And see, Bud can't sell on his own. If people have not noticed that, that's why he always attaches himself to Earl. Earl is Bud's biggest commodity. With Earl, even my man Black Fight Fan TV, shout out to Black Fight Fan. Boback hit Black Fight Fan up and asked him and 7-8 them to push Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence. So Crawford didn't have a name. They had to push and get Crawford his name. Everybody they was talking about Crawford and Spence at 140. No, the fuck they wasn't. They was talking about Keith Thurman and Crawford when he first got up here. When he first got the welterweight, he was talking about Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman. He didn't mention Earl the True Spence. And people lied talking about he been chasing him for 5 years. No, he was chasing Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman told him to get some more weight on him because he's not a true welterweight yet. He wanted Pacquiao, but Bob Arum said that Crawford is a sucker for southpaws, so Bob Arum scrapped that fight. In his archive, Bob Arum have said it. He didn't start calling out Earl until after Earl destroyed Kell Brook, then Lamont Peterson. And he seen the riz that Earl was getting. And what y'all don't understand is Terrence Crawford is a jealous-hearted individual. Kawhi Elliott, salute, King. He's a jealous-hearted individual. 2-cent boxing. Terrence Crawford did a under 500,000 gates in Omaha. 2-cent boxing. When he fought David Aronesian, that gate was under 500,000. BLK lost they lost everything in that fight. They lost everything in that fight. And see, not only do the Bud Crawford fans hate Earl, but they try to tear down PBC. They try to tear down everything associated with Earl. They talk crazy about the PBC, but the PBC got Terrence Crawford more money in one fight than he got in his whole entire career. They gave him generational wealth. One fight. Bob Thomas. I hadn't said nothing about 500K pay-per-view buys. I said $500,000 gate. And Bob Thomas, Earl could have did that. He could have did about $2 million with Canelo. He would have did over 500 with Keith Thurman. Earl and Mikey Garcia did 350,000. Earl and Mikey both walked away with 17 million. Earl has made 8-figure paydays before. This is Bud's first ever. His biggest payday was the Sean Porter fight. Rachel and Nonito, salute. Let me make sure I got Rachel and Nonito rich up in here. And see, people, they quick to badmouth the PBC, but when BLK was out, they like, we need to support black-owned and all this. Who you think owns the PBC? Al Heyman. And I'll tell you one thing, you don't hear people talking bad about Al Heyman that works for Al Heyman. He gives his fighters generational wealth, money outside of boxing. That's why people like Rick Glazier, Bob Arum, Oscar De La Hoya, and them hate him because he took away their biggest source of income, which was pimping the fighters. He helped fighters get the money that they deserved, the money that the promoters and them was taken from the fighters. But people are quick to bash the PBC. They're quick to bash Earl, and they're quick to bash Earl's team. But Earl, even Terrence Crawford said Earl gave him a lookout. Without Earl, it wouldn't have been a fight. And I'll tell you like this, Earl and Thurman would have did over 500K easily. Easily. Because that's the fight people been asking for. Rick Glazier looked like a turkey that's ready to be harvested, John Kramer. Yeah, y'all go ahead and hit the link. Suwaz dropped the link. Anybody want to get up here and comment, y'all hit the link. Mike Rhythm, salute, King. Nah, Rachel no needle. You're not a hater. But when you speak stuff that goes against the narrative about what they're trying to push, then that makes you a hater because you're not a sheep. Because you just don't fall in line. See, they want people to shut up and fall in line. But we have minds over here. We're blessed with a consciousness. A lot of people, they don't use their consciousness, but we're blessed with a conscience. We're blessed with a conscience. And, you know, some of these people, you can piss on them and tell them it's raining, and they'll get a damn raincoat and ignore the smell and the color because somebody said it's rain. They will eat the yellow snow. And I'm just being honest. And like I said, Frank Martin, Derrick James, Earl Spence, it's no problem in the Mandown camp. They sit back and laugh at these narratives. And these are the narratives that's being pushed because content creators have nothing to talk about. So when you have nothing to talk about, it's called let's make something up. It ain't about who's telling the truth. It's about who drops it first. And then you have hanger-ons who can't think for themselves. They want to ride the wave of a lie and will help push the lie. That's how things get spreaded. You get one person lying and you get two people to verify and push it. Now everybody talking about it. But then when you try to ask what a source or who started it, oh, well, such and such said such and such, but you never get to the beginning of who started it. It's always, I heard it from a source. Cite your sources. Back in school, you had to cite your sources. You couldn't give a source, and you couldn't give a fact and not cite your source. Exactly, Daryl. And that's why I said Bud lost respect. Because I was beginning to like the type of fighter. I said, okay, Bud, I see them PBC, they pushing Bud. Yeah. Bud, he's starting to engage with the crowd and everything. I said, yeah. We got a new Bud. He done got his money. He's got his recognition that he's been wanting. Now you know Bud gonna give us the good fights. As soon as I said that, as soon as I'm ready to praise Bud, even though Earl is my guy, even though I'm trying to give him his flowers, then he turns around and does this stuff again. And people show you who they are. It's up to you to believe them. And a lot of people are like, dang, man, this is who Bud showed us he was at first. We just chose not to believe him when he showed us. That's just like the woman, she found a snake dying in the snow. She picked the snake up, took it home, cared for it, nursed it back to health. When the springtime came, the snake bit her in the neck. She laying in the hearth, in the carpet, in the living room, and she's dying. She looks over at the snake and she says, Snake, I've been good to you. I saved you out the snow. I took care of you. I fed you. I kept you warm during the winter. Why did you bite and kill me? And guess what the snake told her? He said, you knew I was a snake before you met me. Ain't nothing changed. So you knew it was a snake before you met it. So don't get mad when a snake does what a snake does, which is to bite you. And Crawford showed us who he was with the negotiations. Mr. I signed everything. So how are we acting like we're so confounded that he's doing it again? It's like they say, don't feed the bears. Because once you feed the bears get used to it, then they get greedy. Crawford has made more money he's made his entire career off one fight, and now he's done got greedy. He's running around here calling for fights with Canelo, Charlo, all this and that, when the biggest fight is right there in his face. He's not going to get that much money versus Canelo. Canelo's the A-side, period. Earl Spence is his biggest money maker. They are connected. They are dance partners. They are the Hagler and Hearns. That's what they are. They're connected in this. They are Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. Bo and Holyfield. That is them. They are destined to be each other's adversaries. And Bud doesn't want to take Earl at his best. He don't want Earl at his best. And that right there, it shows me a flaw in character. Because you would think that you want to fight him at the best, Bud, because you see you're not getting the credit that you deserve, that you think you deserve. So fight that man at 154. No excuses. No, you want to play victim. You want to sit here and lash out at people because you felt like you didn't get the respect that you deserve. You was on the other side of the street. And then you lie and talk about when have they ever said anything about the other side of the street except for when you came up. No. Tim Bradley brought it up when he was scheduled to fight Earl, his mandatory. Tim Bradley said in an interview, he's on the other side of the street. When have we done business with them guys? Tim Bradley retired and ducked Earl the True Spitz. And that's why Tim always has a deep-seated hatred for Earl. Earl ran that man out of boxing. He knew he was going to get crippled. He knew that. And Bud, I want to see you in a 50-50 fight, brother. I don't want to see you in a fight where you have all the aces. Like, come on, man. You set the deck every time you play. What's going on, Kwee? Shalom. Why you couldn't take that fight after the Ugas fight? Why'd you have to wait till Earl get another accident? Why'd you need a coin toss? Why not? See, and that's the thing. Bud has so much hatred to Earl and so much jealousy. He has so much hatred and jealousy towards Earl. He knew Earl wanted this fight that bad. Bud was willing to walk away from it unless he got any and everything he wanted. And what's crazy because he couldn't do it on his own merit. He had to do it off Earl's merit. And that's what really burns him up. That he couldn't get this type of payday on his own. He needed Earl the True Spitz to get his biggest payday. Bob Thomas, hit the link, Bob Thomas. If you think the second beat gonna be worse, hit the link. The link is out there, Bob Thomas. And how can it be worse than the first fight? When you fight an Earl that hasn't fought but once in 3 years, that couldn't spar, that had injuries, that was weight drained, that barely could make weight. It don't get worse than that. If so, why is he negotiating with the price? Why not accept the price? You got your biggest payday, Bob Thomas. Explain that. If it was gonna be worse, why he just didn't accept after the Ugas fight? Why did I sign everything, Bob Thomas? Why did he get a tune-up fight before the Earl Spence? And that's where Earl Spence messed up at, because he didn't take a tune-up fight. And yes, Earl was arrogant, and his arrogance cost him. It's nobody's fault but his own. They tried to get him to take a tune-up fight. He didn't. I don't care what Bud doing in his mind, Bob Thomas. I'm not Earl Spence. And his weight class is for a reason. I was an undefeated fighter. Yeah. And now I'm not sitting there saying I can beat Bud, but I can tell you like this, Bud ain't gonna beat me. His weight class is for a reason. I used to box. I got Bud about 50, 60 pounds, 6'3", and 2 and some change, man. And I had knockout power. Yeah, Bud may be faster and all that right there, but it only takes a shot. You feel me? That's why you don't see Bud in there with heavyweights. His body work, his weight won't carry up there, or his punching power. But like I was saying, he wants to fight Canelo up there. So if you want to go to 168 to fight Canelo, Earl's at 154. What's wrong with that? But if you don't get more money, you gonna stay at 147. Okay, stay at 147. Fight Boots. Fight Boots at 147 because he your mandatory. And Steven Espinosa in Showtime told us that they'll give you what you want to fight Boots. Yeah, Mike Rhythm. And see, that's what people fail to realize, Mike Rhythm. This is Bud's third division. This is still Earl's first division. Earl's been in the same division for over 12 years. The same division as when he was a child, a teenager. Your body outgrows it. So that shows the dedication and the discipline that Earl Spence has to have to make 147. To make it. You see what happened to Chad Dawson when he came down to fight Andre Ward? It wasn't even close. He was weight drained. Just like if Bud would go down and fight Tank Davis, he'd get destroyed because Bud would be weight drained. That's why Bud is not 135. No, I don't think Tank would beat him at 147, Bob Thomas, but I think Tank will beat Bud at 140 or 135 easy. I think Bud would have no punch resistance because when you weight drain, you have no punch resistance and your power is limited. That's why in football, when they have older kids that's playing with the younger ones, they have to play older and lighter. They have to come in lighter weight than the younger kids that's in that division. Exactly, Thomas Hill. Mean Machine. Oh, Jose Benavidez, who Earl destroyed when he was healthy, a prospect, took Bud to the wire. Bud took him out the last seconds of the fight. That man sent Bud across the ring with a body shot in the third round twice. Twice. And people still doubting it. And if the fight is so easy, why don't Bud take the easy payday? So Bud know it's not easy. Bud know he had got a gifted a golden chance. If not, he wouldn't have all these negotiations, all these problems about more money. You done got more money than you got in your whole career in one fight. And if you fight Earl again, you still get more money than you got paid at top rank. So I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is at all. Exactly, Coach Amber. David Avenesian lasted longer. And see, I'm going to tell you like this. I've been on fast before. And after coming off a 10-day fast, I know I couldn't even walk up the steps hardly. Your body has no energy. It's like you drowning in quicksand. And the first thing that Earl says is, I couldn't change gears. I couldn't get up and go. He couldn't go nowhere. He didn't have no giddy up. He couldn't change gears. Earl was a car stuck in first gear and he was sputtering out, about to burn up the clutch. Exactly, all things, because it's not Earl coming off the couch. And see, that's why Earl got to get Blu-ray, because Blu-ray said anything that could have went wrong did go wrong. And see, like anybody that knows about your body knows, you just can't come dead cold and think you about to drop all this weight and cut to 147. It's dangerous to cut weight. We see what happened with Regis versus Gorilla. The man had to get pulled out the tub. Like, the man was life or death. And you see how that fight turned out. Now, people thinking Devin Haney about to knock out him. And I'm not saying Devin Haney ain't a good fighter, but he's just not going to knock out Regis. I'm sorry. And if you think he's getting the Regis that Zorilla got, it's going to be a rude awakening. See, people always look at a fighter had a bad fight, and then they keep judging the fighter off his last performance. Yes, Earl had a bad fight with Terrence Crawford, a horrible fight. But what happened with his fight with Ugas? That was a fight that was a year before that, prior. And you got to realize, if you haven't fought but one fight in 3 years, and then you have an injury where you can't spar, you can't even get the ring rust off. You can't even get the ring rust off. That's like not shooting a basketball for 2 years and thinking you're about to hit a three-pointer or a jumper. Your muscles don't have the memory to come to it. It takes a minute for your muscle memory to kick in. The human body is resilient, but it has to start from something. It has to feed off of something. And when you haven't been doing something for so long, it's just like riding a bike once it gets going, but you have to get it going. I've never seen it before either, Coach Amber. And that's what I said yesterday. Bud said it himself. You can check my blood work, you'll find nothing illegal. No, we ain't gonna find nothing illegal, because Victor Conte is good at giving people legal enhancements. That's why they do a markup of your body. That's why they see what goes well with your body, and he provides you with snack enhancements that are approved by the FDA to enhance your workout and your fighting ability. All he's doing is getting approved drugs. And yes, it's legal because they haven't banned it. So if they haven't banned it, it's not illegal, right? So don't say you did everything natural, because you are snack strong. It's the reason why they say people are snack strong. You feel what I'm saying? Like I said, even creatine is an enhancement. It gives your body faster recovery time, and it lets your muscles work out longer. That's an enhancement. Because with the faster recovery time and working out longer, that means you can get stronger faster. And you can get much stronger. Exactly, Coach Amber. Exactly. And I've never seen Crawford hit that hard. Yeah. It wasn't mathing at all. My guy, Thomas Hill, get up here and talk about some of how that math ain't mathing. Y'all hit the link, man. Somebody get up here and cook with the guy. I want to hear what y'all got to say about this situation. But like I said, it's always funny how they come out with a narrative when it's some bullshit that's coming out. Like Frank Martin narrative came out after the fact that Bud wants more money to fight at 154. So what they do, they take your mind off what's really going on. Salute to my guy Thomas Hill. What's going on with you, King?
Yeah, salute to you. Man, I'm glad you're feeling better, man. I know you had to spend a little bit of time at the hospital and everything, but you're
Oh,
still faithful to your craft. So
oh yeah.
appreciate that.
Last two
And
days,
go ahead. My bad. I'm sorry.
I said, yeah, the last 2 days have been wonderful.
Man, I'm glad that they're wonderful, bro. You sounding good too. You
Yeah,
sounding real
up
good.
dosage. Cause see, I was trying not to get on heavy doses of that shit, but like I said, it's probably another 6 to 8 months before my wounds are healed all the way, and I stop feeling the pain from the nerves and stuff. So I just let them up the dose a little bit. So it's been keeping my pain at bay. Mike Big, salute.
Mike Biggs, what it do, champ? Yeah, man. I just wish that people, man, would, I know you're supposed to believe half of what you see. What I saw in that fight is a lot of stuff that, like you said, just don't add up. Like I've never seen Crawford do anyone as severe, open anyone up so quick, and have anyone looking like they on like Bambi legs, like when an animal first born in the wild, they barely could stand up. I've never
Exactly.
seen that happen before.
You want me to tell
And
you what I've
and
never
it's
seen happen,
this.
Thomas? What I've never seen happen, and I've seen Mike Tyson, I've seen Aaron Pryor, I've seen the Hulk, Julian Jackson, I've seen Tank Davis, I've seen Deontay Wilder, I've seen Roy Jones, I've seen all these big punchers hit people with some big ass punches, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen any of them bust open a pair of gloves.
Yeah, you ain't never
Which
lied
means
about
that
that.
Crawford is a bigger puncher than all these people because he busted open his gloves versus David Avenesian.
Came into the ring with them bad boys open too. That was
Exactly. And
cool.
then had the same type of gloves when he fought Earl. But I ain't saying that. I'm just saying I've never seen nobody bust out gloves.
Yeah, but have you ever seen him bust out anybody else like that? Like in all his fights, had he have ever had anybody leaking and so damn quick? And have you ever seen Bud open? I mean, Spence open up like that, no matter what he been hit with. So it
Nah, I've
was a lot of
seen.
stuff that just wasn't adding up. The way that Earl walked into the ring didn't look good
Hold
either.
on one second, Thomas. Hold on one second. Um, Bob Thomas, I haven't seen Thomas Hill say anything about your mother, brother.
No,
He
I
never
was just
said that.
telling them to keep it. I was telling them to keep it respectful, like if it were his mama. Like if you
Exactly.
someone
So he wasn't disrespecting your deceased mother, bro. He said keep it respectful.
like as if you were talking to your mom. I was
Exactly.
saying you can come up here and voice your opinion, bro. You don't got to get
Thomas
sensitive,
Hill, one of the most respectful people in the damn boxing community, right there, bro.
bro.
Don't
I
do
would
that.
never disrespect you or your mama, for real, for real. I don't. We come from. I don't know, bro, but and my culture, only time you ever talk about people mamas is playing the dozens, and we ain't playing the dozens. We talking boxing. So
Exactly.
I would never talk bad about your mama. I wouldn't even disrespect you. I get disrespected a lot in these chats and never far back. All I ask is for people to hold accountability for their favorite fighter as they do for the fighter that because of their favorite fighter they hating on. And that's
Exactly.
it. That's all.
And see, that's what makes the Crawford fans so mad is because we didn't leave Earl. But
Way too emotional.
Crawford, and yes, my boy A1 Hoopzone said he will though. But my boy Crawford, like if Crawford would have lost that fight, that's showing me that his fans would have left him high and dry.
Hey, one true.
Because they mad because we didn't leave Earl high and dry. So that what they're saying is if Crawford would have got beat by Earl, they would have left Crawford. So they conditional fans, or should I say casual fans.
Yeah, I ain't no casual fan. I'm a fan of boxing before everything else. I'm a fan of boxing. I like Tank and I like Earl because I like how they carry themselves as men. You know, that's the one thing that I gravitate to them for, and I like the way that they handle business in the ring. That being said, I know that Terrence Crawford is a terrific fighter. I know that there's things about Terrence Crawford that look suspect, and I know that he's aligned with people who have been super suspect in past, and more than likely right now because they're just scientifically more advanced in the system that is in place. That being the case, I do know that Terrence Crawford came in the ring bigger than Earl, and he has never been bigger.
Exactly. And more
I
muscular.
way more muscular.
And
And
Earl
I don't know if that, like you said, I don't know if that was due in part to him throwing
stature.
off Blue Day to try to scale down to that weight. Because he's been in there for a long time, bro. I mean, Coach Amber said it best. He was 154 coming out of high school.
Yeah, Spence was 156 coming out of high school.
Oh yeah,
See, that's what
156.
people
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
realize. Spence is still. How many of y'all can still make the weight that y'all made in high school? I can't.
I'm nowhere near that, Mickey Free.
Exactly. So that shows you the discipline and the struggle that Earl has to go through to make 147. He has to bust down to get 147.
Like Tatiana.
Exactly. He busts down like your favorite watch, like your favorite Rolex. He has to bust it down.
You
And
ain't never
now,
lied.
even at the age of 30, he's not a 20-year-old no more. Your body changes. It gets older. He's a grown man now. And Earl ain't gonna make 147. That's why I say he can't make 147. Hell, Bud even came in overweight a little bit.
Yeah, Bob. All I wanted you to do, man, was hit the instead of typing, bro. It's so much easier to voice your opinion. You got people here that's gonna hear you out. They even if they disagree, they gonna respect you and hear you out, bro. All I was asking you to do was just hit the link. Shawar, she like the head moderator. She popped the link in the chat so you can get on. And all she asked you to do was keep it respectful. You might hear me say respectfully like Dub Right Side, because my man Dub Right Side always say respectfully.
Shawar
So
about to pop. Well, A1 got him. I thought Shawar about to get him, but A1 got him. And that's why I say, man, people are too emotional, too daggone. Like, come on, dog. Like, it's crazy, dude. Coach Amber said she fought at 147 to 156. Yeah, Coach Amber, I fought at 147 when I was 14 and 15.
Man, I graduated at 175, bro.
Oh no! When I got to like 17, 18, I was the 160 because I shot up to 6'3". So at 6'3", I wasn't making no 147 or 156.
Nah, not at all. Hell no. Especially if you got big bones, bro. You definitely ain't making no damn 153 or 156.
Exactly. And see, Earl's 5'8", 5'9", and he has a
Yeah.
solid frame with him. A1 Chris.
Hey, one a fool, bro. He had me up in here dying. It's a way you can come out that time out though, Bob, bro. All you gotta do is hit that link. Hit that link. You can come up here and you can speak it. That's all I say, man. You know, if you got that much
Yeah, the link
energy,
right there, and he didn't hide him. He just timed him out. You know.
yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. But he can't say nothing right now.
Yeah,
He got that
you know,
time out.
you,
You know,
you know,
5 minutes sit there.
you know, you're doing too much when Shawar telling you to chill out.
Yeah, real talk. That's what I'm saying. Hey, one not the one to mess with, man. He got your fuse for stuff like that. He'll clip your ass if he has to. Oh, he was at work all day. Boy, that boy sure can text though. He was texting up a storm.
Oh,
I ain't
Coach
gonna lie.
Amber. Hey, Coach Amber, my first.
What I really wanted to say, I came on because you asked me to. But I really wanted to say is like you got people in here like yourself who been in the amateurs and who been in the ring, and Coach Amber that know people. Like she's a coach on the team and participated on the team. Like she giving you insight and making sure you don't even listen to this stuff. Don't be
Yeah,
right now.
that's she saying right there. And Coach Amber, I fought weight drain before too, Coach Amber. My last fight at 147. And it took me like I know I had to have the trash bag on for like 4 hours and run to get the last 8 ounces off of me.
Man,
So I had to get them, and then I had like 2 hours to get prepared for the fight. When I got that fight, it was like I had skates on my feet, like they was heavy. Like you take the daggone skates off, it's so heavy, and my arms was limp. Like it felt like I wasn't hitting the man hard at all, but the dude he wasn't that good anyway. He didn't have he had good offense but no defense. and I stopped him to the body, but like it felt like I couldn't throw nothing hard. It was like
Facts.
I was throwing
Facts.
everything with all I had, and it was like it was going so slow. Like I could see my punches going. So I know how Earl felt because when he said he couldn't kick it into gear, because it felt like I was flailing around, like I was throwing some slow, weak shots.
I mean, a man that's taking people. Oh my bad. Go ahead.
But yeah, that's what I said. And after that fight, I said I had to go up. I had to go
Yo,
up. I hated that feeling right there. Exactly, Coach. It took me almost 4 hours to get 8 ounces off. And I hated feeling like that. And I told my coach, I said, I'd never fight this division again because I thought I was close to it, but it wasn't.
yeah, no, you absolutely right, bro. Like I seen people go to the freaking hospital because of not
Look at
being
Virgil
proper.
Ortiz.
Yeah.
Virgil Ortiz about to
Yeah,
fight at
yeah,
154.
exactly.
Virgil Ortiz got some big bones too. He's a big guy.
Yeah, man. That's another man that
Him and
he
EJ would be a
killing
great
himself,
fight
man,
at
to make that
154.
division. Yeah,
Virgil
he's
Ortiz
a
and Earl
beast.
Spence, that fight does numbers at 154. Because you know, Virgil has a fan base. And him and Earl, they can pack out the Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah, well, that's what I was hoping that well, and it still can happen, but he right the ship, get himself together, get this 12-20.
Salute to Coach Amber, the cash app. I mean, the super chat. Fighting Drain feels like you're fighting in your dreams. No power, you're a rag doll.
And
That's facts.
that's exactly what we saw, bro. Like I swear to you, man, I saw him throw slow motion punches. They wasn't even having no effect. My man, Crawford even said,
Crawford
bro.
even said, "Where was the power?"
Yeah, exactly. And that was in the first round. The round that everybody said Earl looked real good in. Like he never going into that ring, he didn't look good.
I
He
don't
didn't
even
look
think he
good at
looked good
all.
in the first round. I felt like when I first seen him in the first round, it felt like he was rushing and he was pushing his shots.
Yeah, and
Like
he
it
didn't have
wasn't.
his balance together. And I
I
was
felt like EJ. I felt like EJ didn't have no push behind his punches. Like I mean, like he didn't have no pop. Like he was pushing them shots. And I felt like, Crawford was just, going through the motions because it wasn't no snap on them shots when EJ first came out.
at
Like he was
all.
throwing them from an awkward angle and it wasn't no snap behind it. Like, when you see a person throw a punch and you see it's a good punch, you see a crispness. Like you see a snap.
Exactly.
And it was
Exactly.
like he was pushing his shots. Like people don't realize in boxing, there's a difference between pushing your shots and snapping your shots out there. When you snap, like that snap is direct. It's an action. Like when your punches snap, like like it's a reaction. But when you push, like you hit it going through. You feel what I'm saying? It's like kinetic action and like when you have kinetic motion, like an abrupt stop. Like if you have two people collide, that's
Exactly.
more potent than one person colliding through somebody else. You feel what I'm saying? It's like it's a more centric motion. And like Earl didn't have the snap off, like the dynamic action of snapping off, twisting his shot. He wasn't doing that.
He wasn't doing it at all. And it looked like it
Exactly. And
took
that
too
takes
much
off your
energy.
power. Plus his core. Exactly, Coach Evan. That's what I was trying to say. It's a whip. Like a whip. Like a snap crack. Like when you got hit with a belt and you got hit with a switch. That damn belt. That belt, it popped you and wrapped on you a little bit. But that switch, it was like cut. Like
Yeah,
ah. You know what I'm saying?
it lead that sting in your ass for sure.
Exactly. Exactly. See, Earl, he was more like throwing belts out there. Salute A1. Salute, King.
What's good with it, y'all? Sorry, my kids playing over here real quick.
Nah,
You know, I had to pop do a little emotional stuff about saying some goofiness. I'm like, bro, you too wrapped in emotions, you're not understanding what's being said, and he's not paying no mind or no attention to it. And I'm like, yeah, that slickness, nah, I ain't for it.
Oh, I ain't seen that, King. Yeah, y'all got riches for a reason, bro. feel
Oh
me?
yeah, no, I ain't got no wrench. I got a semi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as the channel grows, I already got my mods. You feel me? So they got to deal with it. I mean,
Hmm.
these people that
Got
y'all let people have their own opinion, but ain't no use in coming in there and act like that. Like that's why I had to stop for a second. Like Thomas Hill don't disrespect nobody, bro. And if you sit there and take that personal when somebody say be respectful, like when you with your mom and shit, like bro, that's a generalized statement. Like you can't take
That
that to
means
heart.
that
Like
nigga with
that
the
means you
noise.
looking for. And see, I hate when people do that when they just looking for a reason. And some people, and that's just like how a lot of these blood fans be. They be looking for a reason. But you know something, Coach Amber? Yeah, that would be a good retirement fight for Earl right there. But I want to see Earl versus a Tim Zoo or somebody. But like I said, Earl versus Terrence Crawford, it'd be a lot different. Earl first he needs to get his body back together with Blu-ray. A basketball and football strength and conditioner cannot get you ready for boxing. I'm sorry. Boxing and football and basketball are three different sports. You don't use the same muscles and you don't use them in the same variations.
No, you're fact. You're
So
absolutely correct
your
with that.
stamina is a lot different from boxing and football. Football, you need explosive power, but you have power that you get to rest a lot. It's basketball, you get to rest too when you're coming down and you're setting up formations. In boxing, this is nonstop action. Like, it's mentally and physically. You got to keep it going. And, the calisthenics, they keep you in shape better than the weights do. Like, that's why you don't need the weights because the weights, weights is good for sports like football and basketball because, you set up and, you get to explode. But in boxing, you got to stay fluid. You got to stay in motion. And calisthenics is always the best. Herschel Walker never used weights. He used to do 1,000 push-ups and sit-ups a day. He used his own body. And what I was saying is, like Coach Amber said, when you're weight drained, your body doesn't have the power. And see, that's why I think Devin Haney will be a lot better at 140 because at 135, you see, he hasn't knocked nobody down in 97 rounds. And that's because his muscles don't have the power or the strength to work at his full capacity. Just like Earl, we was only seeing a fraction of Earl's true power because him cutting down to 147, he's putting his power in a bottle, like putting it in a bottle with a lid on it. That's why I said at 168 or 160, we'll see a much better Earl. Just like I've seen Earl spar at the higher weight classes, and at the higher weight classes, Earl be busting up them light heavyweights and all that because he's able to use more of his punching power. And when he's able to use more of his punching power, then he's able to do more. Rick Tim, salute, King. Shawar got the link and Thomas got the link down there.
That's my guy.
That's
What up, Hims?
But that's what I was saying. The more muscle weight and the more of that's like people only use 5-6% of their brain. If you're able to use more than that, you're that much more better. So Crawford was able to use 100% of his muscles because he's coming up to this weight. This is his third weight division. So his body has had a chance to grow into the division and fill out. So he's able to use all of his weapons while Earl has been having to keep a lid on his weapons since he first started. Buckle up, boxer, salute. Detroit, BC, salute. See, Earl has been he's like Broly in Dragon Ball Z. Earl's been having a power thing, holding his power in check. People have never seen the true power of Earl Spence because he's never been able to display it. He's never been able to let his muscles go at 100% capacity. That's why he always say 50% of me is better than these other bosses because that's all you've been getting is 40 to 50% of Earl Spence. I think at 160, you might get 100% of them because then he's able to let his muscles fully contract. He's able to let his muscles get juiced. He's able to pump his muscles the way he wants to. He's able to keep the nutrients, the water, the fluid, everything in his body. And he's not going to be drained.
So let me ask you this. You think this because I believe that wholeheartedly. Do you think then we will see that difference in Devin Haney as well in that fight against Prograis? Because He should have been up a long time ago.
I feel like Devin. You see, Shakur's power came up a little bit better since he been at 135, right?
True.
I
True.
feel like Devin will have a lot more power at 140 than he had at 135. I feel like Devin was too big for that division. Like the
Yeah,
man used to go up to 170. I feel like Devin was weight draining himself.
hell
And
yeah, he
that
been in
shows
that
a
division since
testament to how good of a boxer Devin is that be able to fight with a limited power capacity. Because if you notice, as Devin got older, he stopped getting knockdowns as well, as he's been having to push himself to be Skeletor when he comes to the weigh-ins. And you just can't get but so much juice out of a lemon. But the bigger the lemon, the more juice that comes out of it.
for
So
sure.
when Devin's able to rehydrate more, then his muscles will be able to hold more oxygen and more fluid and more power in them. And he'll be able to use more of it. So he might have a bigger pop at 140. He should have a bigger pop because usually when fighters drain down to hit the lower weights, when they get up, their power increases. See, Terrence Crawford wasn't knocking everybody out at 135. He wasn't knocking everybody out at 140. But he got the 147 and he was able to use the full extent of his muscles. And he's been knocking out everybody he's been in the ring with because he's able to use all of his attributes. See, Earl's not able to use all his attributes, and he still had a higher knockout percentage. So that should tell you as he moves up, his muscles will be opening up more wider, and he'll be able to get more knockouts because he'll have more power and more reserves going on. But people ain't understanding that. They don't realize how the body works. People's Choice, salute. Aaron Muhammad, salute. See, they don't realize it's a lot of things that go into your body and how it works. That's why, Andre Ward did Chad Dawson so easily. Chad Dawson, but Coach Amber, if Coach Amber, you used to box and train. That's why Earl is able to spar with light heavyweights and heavyweights and stuff like that because when he initiates his sparring, he's around 170, 160 something. He not sparring them at 147. So when you get the sparring, you cut weight as well. So Earl's at a weight where his muscles get to use his capacity. As he's sparring, he's cutting down the weight, he's cutting down his muscle capacity, but he's actually able to hit the people with a lot of power because that's why they all have to wear rear protectors. That's why, Rockman's son even said he used to have to wear rear protectors because you got Earl being unleashed with all of his power at a higher weight and he's able to crack. And that's why everybody wears rear protectors. But as he crushes down to 147, the power diminishes. Yes, Coach Ever, his body is. KQKC, salute, King. Salute, OG. And y'all make sure, the OG about to be calling this boxing. I think he got a fight tomorrow. To sit, of course, because Crawford is able to use more of his muscles. Now, you also peak out. See, that's what, don't get me wrong. You also have a peak. It's also a spot where your muscles and your body peaks. See, Crawford, his peak, I think, is 147. He started at 135. At 140, he got stronger, but at 147, he peaked. He was at his optimal weight. He was at his optimal weight and his optimal physical strength. His muscles is right for that. Yes, he can go to 154. I don't think his punching power get any more harder, but he's at the perfect weight for his speed and power because his speed and power are right on par with the weight for his body as for right now. Now, when he grow into 154, yes, he can grow into 154 and get more powerful, but a lot of times you hear people say that the power doesn't carry. That's why, in a way, his power has been carried because, anyway, is naturally a 126, a 127 pounder. But he was fighting in them little weights like 118 and stuff, 115 and stuff like that. So he was crunching down. But as Inoue is moving up, his power is as well too, because he's able to use more of his optimization of muscles. He's optimizing his muscles. He's able to use more. As you go up, as you weight drain, and you in a smaller weight class, you got to realize you only using percentages of your muscles. So as you get bigger, you're opening up the box more and using more of your muscles. Yeah, 168, that's way too much for Crawford. It's too much for Jermell Charlo. That's why he's going to 162, 163 for this fight. He's not going all the way to 168 because that weight also is a detriment to Sid. Like that weight can slow you down. And plus, with that weight, that's more energy your body has to use because muscles are heavier than fat. Plus, it takes up twice as much oxygen and your fuel. See, if you notice a person that works out, the average daily allowance is 2,100 calories a day. But as your body mass increases and your muscle mass increases, you have some people that's on 3,200 calorie a day, and like a lot of sports football athletes are on 5,000 to 4,000 calories a day. Because as you get bigger in your muscles, you have to feed the muscles. You have to keep. That's why AJ is not a 12-round fighter. The man is like 56 stones, I think. Like, he's a big guy. And he has to feed the muscles, so he's going to fatigue a lot faster. DMG, salute, King. That's why bigger fighters fatigue faster than the smaller fighters, because they have more muscles and more weight that they have to fuel. And your body, it has a peak optimal condition. That's what I was saying. So, yes, Crawford is at his peak weight right now. And Earl, he's only going to get better at 154, 160 because he'll be using more of his punching power, more of his muscles. And like I said, at 147, that was just a bottle cap of Earl. That's why if you look at the sparring stories, Earl's always sparring bigger light heavyweights and heavyweights and stuff because he has the power to do it. But shrinking down to 147 for over 12 years, he can't do it at that weight. That's why the first thing he said was, I couldn't kick it in gear. I couldn't do nothing. And he wasn't going to be able to do that with Crawford. And Crawford and his team is not stupid. They know how long Earl's been there. They've been planning for 5 years for this Earl Spence fight. And Earl should have moved up like they said. He should have took a tune up with Keith Thurman like they said. He should have did a lot of things that they said, but he didn't. And so Earl had to take this loss. And when he learned from that, experience is the best teacher. Experience is the best teacher. And he just got the experience. So see, it actually ain't really an advantage. Because when you weight drain, your punch, you might can still hit harder because you're coming from a higher weight, but your punch resistance is gone too. See, Floyd Mayweather fought at 154 and he fought at 147. When Floyd could have stayed at 135. Floyd is a natural, he walks around naturally at like 147. That's what makes Floyd so great. Because Floyd fights at his natural weight. Like, Floyd ain't supposed to be fighting at 147 or 154. But that's what made him so great, because he actually did it and beat fighters that was 30 and 40 pounds heavier than him on fight night. That's what makes him that great. So people try to talk about Floyd's greatness, make sure you throw that in there too. That Floyd fought at his correct weight. He even fought at weight classes higher than his weight. Because with Floyd's size, most fighters would have stayed at 130 or 135 if they was Floyd's size. But Floyd dared to be great, and he was great. That's why he TBE. He fought at 140, 147, and 154. When if he wanted to, he could have easily cut that weight down to 135.
Yo, that's why he insisted on that test too, man, because your boy went from 108 to 160. Right?
You said what, bro?
I said, ain't that why he insisted on that dang that test, the blood testing for Pacquiao, because he went from 108 all the way up to like 160 or 154?
Yeah, but see, Manny Pacquiao, right? And see, this was a lot of things. A lot of PEDs increase your head size.
Oh yeah, you know.
Barry Bonds. Look at Pacquiao. That's one of the key components. You get a big swollen head because the neurogens, it goes to your brains and it swells. Like People understand that, but they act like they don't see it. Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, Manny Pacquiao, Jose Canseco, all their heads got huge, and it comes from the PEDs. Anyway, heads that got bigger. If you watch, but see them lower weight classes like that, 10 pounds is 5 divisions just about. You know what I'm saying? They got all these small. You got the 108, the 110, the 112, the 115, the 118. You're a 5 division champ with 10 pounds. Everybody talk about Manny Pacquiao and his 8 divisions. But you want me to tell you who did a better feat than Manny Pacquiao? Roy Jones. Because Manny Pacquiao, he went up 40-something pounds. Roy Jones went up 50-something pounds. Roy Jones went up from 154. The only person to ever go from 154 to heavyweight champion. And that was Roy Jones.
I didn't see your mic cut out a little bit on that one up there. I don't know if anybody else had caught that.
Oh, I said Pacquiao, right? He went up like 40 pounds and he an 8 division champion, right? But what's better than that, Roy Jones went up over 50 pounds. He's the only fighter to go from 154 to heavyweight champion. Roy Jones went up more pounds than Pacquiao. Because I said in the small divisions, you got the 108, the 110, the 112, the 115, the 118. Like 10 pounds is 5 divisions. That's why you don't put a lot of stock on them little divisions like that. Like, grown men ain't supposed to be 100 pounds, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's not fighting. When you start getting to the 130, 135, then we start to get to the leather getting laid. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's another thing that makes Crawford a serious fighter. Because he's coming up from the smaller weight classes, right? And in the smaller weight class, you see more combination punching. Okay, Bob Thomas, you talk about Manny and PEDs. Floyd had saline solution in the IVs, brother. It was saline solution. It was saline solution, bro. He done threw me off my train of thought. What was I saying before he stopped me, y'all? Shiwa, what was I saying?
I lost track too because I'm over here feeding my kids, so I'm just listening in. But no, I lost track of it too.
Shiwa, what was I just sitting there talking about, Shiwa, before he interrupted me with the PEDs and Pacquiao? PEDs, saline at the daggone IV. Okay, yeah, difference between Roy and Pacquiao. First off, Pacquiao crunched down to that weight. But Pacquiao was like 130, crunching down to 108. He lost 22 pounds. Okay. Roy was moving up. Roy went from 154, 160, 168, 175 to 200 pounds. Pacquiao went from 108 to 144, 147, 155. It's a big difference. And one thing about moving up in weight, this is what I was talking about. When you come up from the smaller weight classes, you become better combination punchers. When you hit the weight of 140, you don't see many fighters throwing 4 and 5 punch combinations because the power, when you start getting the higher weight classes, the power dynamic, like you can get caught in between them shots and you can get punished. They start laying lumber at 140. So usually around 140, you don't see that many combination punches, but that's what makes Terrence Crawford such a dangerous fighter because he can still string off 4 or 5 hit combinations. Keith Thurman as well. And that combination punching, people don't realize how great that combination punching is. Because when you can string off a bunch of shots and not get hit back in return, it makes you dangerous. And that's what a lot of smaller fighters had. That's what Canelo was going up fighting people doing because usually people think that the fighter coming up is at a disadvantage. When usually, if the fighter's a transitional fighter, he's good with the speed, and if his power carries, he'd be a lot of trouble for bigger fighters. Y'all gotta realize Sean Porter is the same person that beat Alexander Usyk in the amateurs. The heavyweight champion of the world got beat by Sean Porter in the amateurs. You gotta realize stuff that the big fighters doing, the little fighters, it takes more skill to do it. That's why they came out with pound for pound. The stuff Sugar Ray Robinson knew, if heavyweight could do that, they would be unstoppable. Roy Jones was a beast, and he was coming up. His first big 50-50 fight was James Toney. James Toney had over 50 wins when he was fighting a 40-win Roy Jones. Undefeated. Yeah, James Toney too. So Thomas Hill. That's why Toney was so good coming up, because they coming from smaller weight classes, so they used to that combination punching. Combination punching is you gotta realize that's how Keith Thurman got dropped by Pacquiao. Pacquiao threw 4 punches. Keith Thurman dodged the first 3, and that 4th one sat him down. He didn't know Pacquiao had that explosiveness to keep coming with them shots. And see, Bud combination punches was throwing EJ off. EJ hasn't been in there with a combination puncher. And I'm just going to be honest. Nobody EJ has fought really came up like that. Mikey Garcia wasn't able to do it. He's a counter puncher. But Bud brought something EJ wasn't used to. EJ hasn't been combination punched even in the amateurs, because he was at that weight. But that's the advantage a smaller fighter has going against a bigger fighter. That's why I root for Jermell Charlo versus Canelo, because Canelo, he had fast hands and he was able to do that on bigger fighters, but Bivol neutralized that. Plus Canelo, his knees are bad, so he can't use the road work in which he does. He can't get his stamina right. So after 3 or 4 rounds, Canelo's going to be like a sunk ship out there in the middle of the water. And Charlo has great stamina. Charlo's the most athletic person Canelo's been in the ring with. More athletic than Floyd, because Floyd was great defensively. Charlo is good at everything. He's not great at one thing. He's good at everything. You know something, Rick? Roy and Tony was a great fight. He got off on Tony at the very beginning, and then the fight was a lot closer in the middle rounds. But, he made Tony, he was just so fast. And that's why when people say that Marvin Hagler was the best middleweight, I'm like, y'all forgot Roy Jones was a middleweight. Roy Jones was untouchable at middleweight. I wish Joe Kawasaki would have fought Roy Jones when Roy Jones first called him out. But he waited till Roy Jones that got knocked out a few times and was washed. Because Roy was trying to get that Kawasaki fight early in the career. They didn't do it. But yeah, from 154 to 175, Roy was a bad man. To 200, he was a bad man until he started going up and down. And that's what I tell you. As you get older, your body changes. And Roy didn't have the same body that he had as a younger individual. And when he came back down and fought Tarver, you seen that. And see, Roy didn't have fundamentals. Roy is the best athlete to ever lace up a pair of gloves. The most athletic. And if Roy had fundamentals, he's an all-time great anyway, but if he had fundamentals, he'd have been that much more dangerous. The type of fight that Roy do, you do not teach people to fight that way. Chris Eubanks tried to fight like Roy, and he get destroyed. Like, you don't teach Roy Jones boxing style, because if you don't have the quick twitch muscles and you're not as athletic as Roy, it won't go well. Roy will go play a full basketball game, a professional game, and come and still fight a whole fight in the same night. That's how athletic Roy Jones was. And when Roy Jones cut all that muscle to come back down to 175 from heavyweight, he destroyed his body. Because people don't realize when you cut that muscle, it takes a long time to rebuild that muscle. And especially, you don't know where you cut that muscle from. Because when your body starts cannibalizing that muscle, you start getting protein in your kidneys. It can cause the kidney failure. But that's what makes it so dangerous with I think they said Virgil Ortiz was having protein in his kidneys. I'm glad he's okay though. But when you get proteins in your kidneys, like from your muscles, that can cause kidney failure. And Roy Jones cut so much muscle weight, not fat, but muscle weight, and his body was drained. The first fight versus Tarver, Roy fought that off sheer heart. In the second fight, his body aged on him. Like he aged. Roy should have stayed at 175 or should have stayed up at heavyweight. That's why James Toney was such a problem for them fighters as he moved up. Because his power carried, and plus, he was able to stay in there and fight a Bernard Hopkins fight with them heavyweights like Evander Holyfield, like heavyweights that was on the same par as him, cruiserweights. Like, not nobody real big, but he was able to stand in there and go with them because his body was adjusted and he's coming up from combination punching. And people don't understand how good a jab or a combination a jab is the end-all be-all of fighting. And Terrence Crawford took away Earl Spence's jab, so he upset Earl Spence's rhythm. Earl starts everything and finishes everything with that jab. He comes off the jab. He starts his combination to the body off the jab. And Terrence Crawford was able to turn his jab into a straight right. And a straight right is the kryptonite to a southpaw. And Terrence Crawford is a southpaw that's right-hand dominant. So he was able to put his dominant hand first. So while it was going against Earl's weaker jab, he was throwing a straight right that connected faster than Earl could get it off.
Hey, Upper, you not to interrupt you in the middle of the cook. You brought up a good point, and I was gonna say, so Roy Jones being in the case of him coming out and saying, "Oh, if Earl would have reached out, I would have such and such." Obviously we know EJ don't rock with Roy like that, but do you think Roy would have been there to tell him like fighting, and I'm gonna say allegedly, him being weight drained or whatever the case may be, since Roy did do that against Tarver. Do you think he'd have been able to give him any kind of advice that could have helped him if he was fighting weight drained?
I mean, he could have gave him some advice, but advice can't do but so much when you're in that ring, bro. Especially when you're against an experienced killer like Terrence Crawford. Like, you don't want to be handicapped in a cage with a lion or a bear. You feel what I'm saying? Like, when you go in to fight a lion or a bear, you want to be at your top percentage. You don't want to be handicapped. You don't want none of that right there. When you get in the ring with Terrence Crawford, you got to be on your A game. Roy could have gave him some pointers and everything, but the fact that your muscles won't do what you tell it to do, and the fact that you used to fight in a certain way and you can't defend yourself, your timing is off. That's another thing about being weight drained. It disrupts your timing. And once your timing is disrupted, like, fighters fight in a rhythm. It's called rhythm fighting. You fighting off of rhythm in your timing. And once that's thrown off, your whole fight is thrown off. You know what I'm saying? Like, once your rhythm is disrupted, it's going to mess up your whole fight, and you're going to be at a disadvantage, period. And you're going to be in a season, you're going to be, oh, that's great right there, Coach Amber. 100 jabs in a row? Yes. We watched Devin Haney beat Kambosos with a jab. And we see how effective that jab was. A jab is so effective, one reason because it resets your opponent. Another reason is a jab can be a range finder. Another reason is a jab can start off your offense. And another one is a jab can blind you and make it where you don't see the other shot coming. Plus, every time a fighter gets hit with a good enough jab, he has to reset. So if you got a fighter that's trying to get his offense going, but you keep resetting him with your jab, especially a fighter that has to sit down on his shots, yes, that would disrupt everything. And that's what Earl does. Oh, yeah, Coach Amber. I used to put the weights on my wrist. I used to use 10-pound weights on my wrist and around my ankles when I used to train. So when it was time to fight, I used to take the wrist weights off and the ankle weights off. And it used to feel like I was 1,000 times stronger because I messed up my hand like that because I couldn't gauge my speed and power without it. Because without the wrist weights on your hand, you throw punches a lot faster and it gets there a lot. Your timing is off a little bit. And I remember I messed up my hand a couple times. Yeah, that's what I said, Coach Amber. A jab is a range finder. It's an offensive weapon and a defensive weapon, and it's the start. It's the start your combination, or it's a reset button. You can reset your opponent with a stiff jab. You can. That's why I said a jab is the most important weapon to have, and that's one thing Roy Jones didn't have. He didn't have a jab. He had that hook. If Roy Jones had a great jab and he had better defense, I don't see him ever losing, really. But he didn't have no fundamentals, and he knew it. He knew he was great off athleticism. And see, Terrence Crawford was great off athleticism, but this training camp, they worked on his fundamentals. Terrence Crawford used to have that bull jive pawing jab, and he turned that thing into a shotgun straight right, and that thing did numbers to Earl Spence. And that's because Earl Spence and Derek didn't prepare for it. Nah, Thomas here. I used to have 15-pound leg weights on and 10-pound hand weights on. Well, I used to have wrist weights on. And sometimes I wore the weighted jacket. Like we had a weighted jacket that was like 15 to 20 pounds that we put over like a vest. And I used to do my workout like that. Oh yeah, Rick, my knees are bad right now, brother. My knees are bad right now. You didn't have your wrist lock, Coach Amber. But that jab is amazing. Hell, Bud caught Earl with a jab and sat him down, remember? But like I said, Blu-ray get in there, get Earl back right. And like Blu-ray say, he makes machines out of people. He don't need machines. He turns you into a machine. So Blu-ray's gonna have Earl's body back right. He's gonna have him in peak condition. We're gonna see a defined Earl Spence, not the flabby Earl Spence we see versus Terrence Crawford. Plus, we're gonna see Earl rehydrate. See, it's crazy that Earl Spence looked the same size as he did at the weigh-in, at the mock weigh-in, because they didn't show us how the fighters really looked at the weigh-in. Big Dose, salute, King. Al Booger, salute, King. And see, Coach Amber, I used to hit so hard, like I used to mess up my hands in each fight. So that's when I started going to people's body. Because in a person's body, you can throw it as hard as you want to in their midsection, and you'll break their body before you break your hands. And that's when I fell in love with the body shots. Yep. Y'all hit that link. Get somebody up here with me in A1. Let me drop this link down right here. But yeah, Mandown Promotions, Frank Martin, Derek James, all of them, they still good, man. It's nothing going on at them. They just sitting back, letting people talk. They talk. It's a lot of people that's just trying to build content. Ain't nothing going wrong with the Earl Spence family. You know, they've been together for a while, and they have respect for each other. And like they said, a lot of stuff don't deserve to be addressed. And so a lot of things that comes up, they're not even going to waste their time addressing it. Because a lot of these YouTube content creators, they're looking for content. They're looking for content. And they can't they don't have good content, so they make it up. You gotta realize a lot of these channels only got made with the Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. I'm not even gonna lie, my channel is over a year old now. But I first started, matter of fact, it's coming up on 2 years now. But hell, I got 1,000 subscribers my first month. And that was because Earl was fighting, I think it was Garcia. Yeah. So see, I haven't had my channel that long, but 2 months ago, my subscribers, I just really started taking YouTube seriously, especially with, my situation now. And it's a lot of narratives that's out there. It is crazy how you would think people could see things, but then I see how politicians and how so many people get away with so much because people just want to believe in something. And people, they have a limit. That's a small rat, a limit mentality. It's a strange phenomenon. Every so often, lemons are run off a cliff. A whole tribe of thousands of lemons just run off a cliff into the water. But like I said, we have not sheep mentality, but lemon mentality. Like they don't realize that one of them is going off the cliff. Only thing they're doing is following behind the leader. So as the leader's going off the cliff, the other one's right behind them, not paying attention and following them over the limb. Oh, them liver shots, them sternum shots, all them things right there are bad news right there, Coach. I remember I got a kidney shot and I pissed blood for like 3 days. Man caught me dead in my kidney. I felt that. I think he knocked a little, honestly, I'll be honest, I thought he knocked a little piss out of me. Man, it hit me so hard in my kidney, I tinkled in my cup a little bit. It's serious. But yeah. Well, Floyd could teach Earl some things. He taught him last time. And when Earl left from Floyd's training camp last time, Earl's training partner said Earl was doing things he never seen him do before. And Floyd is greatness personified, honestly. Like, Floyd was a magician. He did things in the ring that, hey, the man sat there and fought people that was 30, 40 pounds heavier than him, a lot younger, and still made it look easy. Buckle up, boxing, 2 cents, salute, salute. Welcome to the panel. Y'all always like to come in at the end.
Yeah, I got a couple minutes. I got like 10 minutes to chill with you up.
All right, we got about 15 minutes to my boy. Just do come on anyway.
All right.
All right, y'all go ahead and spit your things.
Go ahead, 2 cents. You can jump on.
She didn't get a chance to cook yesterday. I know she's trying to finish what she. Oh, there she go with her AJ64 salute, King. 2 Cent will be back. But yeah, 2 Cent was
Yeah, I was listening to the as far as the Canelo Jamal. Yeah, Jamal still got a chance. Like you say, with him being a little smaller, a little lighter. I
he got
mean,
more than a chance, brother.
he got a good chance in that fight. I still got Canelo. I picked Canelo to beat him.
But why?
I don't think he's big enough. The same way I picked Bibble to beat Canelo. I
Hey,
picked Kovalev to beat Canelo too, though. I lost in that
let
fight.
me ask
I
you a
picked
question.
Kovalev to beat
Canelo fought Floyd, right?
Right.
He was 30 pounds heavier than Floyd, right?
Well,
And
I
lost all
don't know.
12 rounds.
But I know a catchweight took place in that fight, right? Didn't he
Shakur
catchweight for Floyd
Bell
at
Hot.
152?
Salute, King. You know, they fought at 155. Canelo came in 30 pounds heavier. And Floyd schooled that man and stood right in front of him. Welcome to the stage, Big Dose.
We did.
Salute, fam.
Yes.
Hold
What
on,
happened to
hold on.
Cowboy?
Let me come back to you.
And what happened to what's his name? What's my little guy named down at 130 that came up to fight? Who came from 122 that came up to fight Loma? He shouldn't have did that. And all that. I don't. If I got a
Talk
fighter
about
up,
Gary
if
Russell.
I was in boxing, no, not Gary Russell. The little motherfucker was like Mayweather.
Oh, you talking about Rigondeaux?
Rigondeaux, yeah, Rigondeaux. I wouldn't
Rigondeaux
have bought
came up
Rigondeaux.
almost 3 weight classes, bro.
I wouldn't
Rigondeaux
have did
came
that.
up.
Ain't
Rigondeaux
no way
wanted
I'd
the
have let
money.
Rigondeaux do that. Hell no. Hell no.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't have let my fighter
when
do
you
that.
Rigondeaux, you only getting 25,000 a fight, and people talking about giving you 150 to 250,000. People do that for that money. You got to realize a lot of boxers never see 400,000 or 100,000 in a fight. Most fighters cap out at 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Most fighters cap out at 50,000. So when you got a fighter that can get up to 100,000 or $1 million for a fight, that's a big deal for a fighter. You feel what I'm saying? So they'll do it. They'll risk it all. And see, that's the thing with the Frank and Shakur fight right there. Shakur was only trying to give Frank Martin $1 million with all that they put into Frank. Frank could fight Tank and get 1,000% more. He get 10 million off of Tank, just off the percentage.
I would like to see what Tank would give. I would like to see them get ready to make a fight, and I would have to see that and see what Tank would give Frank, because
Tank
Frank
can get
really
8
right
to win.
now, how can Frank don't really have nothing to ask for a lot.
Okay,
How can
Frank is the mandatory for
Neither
one.
do Shakur.
You say
Neither do
huh?
what?
Shakur.
He
Neither
got
do
more than Frank.
Shakur.
He done more than
What
Frank.
he got?
No,
What you
Frank
Okay.
mean?
is
What
What
he?
he done at
Frank is
Hold up.
Tank
Do I?
what he
Hold up.
done at what he
Hold.
done
Do
at
I really have to
135?
say? Hold up. Do I
What he
really
done
have to
at
say what's the
135?
difference? Do,
Yeah,
do
please
I
tell me
really
what
have
he
to
done
say
at
what's the difference?
135. Tell me what he
You
done at 135.
did you
Nothing.
say that about Bud? Did you say that about
Yeah,
Bud?
And it
Yeah.
yeah,
applies
Okay.
to
So that
Bud
shit.
also.
That shit
yeah.
don't matter. That shit
It
don't.
do
That
matter.
shit. That shit.
Boxing is
That
a
shit
what
don't
have
never
you done
matter.
for me lately sport, bruh. It's a what have you done for me lately sport.
Ain't
We
no
all
what
know that.
have you done for me
I don't
lately.
care
Whatever
what you
you done
did
in your career,
yesterday. What
count
you
in
did
your
at
career.
135.
Yo, if
What you
I was
done at
in my boxing
135.
career and I had a motherfucker like you telling me what I did before it don't count, I would tell you, fuck you. I would tell you more than that. Fuck you mean
And
what I
guess
do
But
what?
don't count.
Shakur
And
doing
I
the
What
tell
you
same
you
mean
thing to
what
fuck
Frank.
you
what you
right
mean what I
now.
did don't
I
count?
tell you fuck you right now. You gonna tell me fuck me over a boxer? Fuck
Yeah,
you,
y'all need to
nigga.
chill, bro. Y'all need to
Fuck
Tell
you
me
chill,
what I
talking
man.
how the
about?
fuck you gonna tell me what I do don't count? Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you mean what I do
Nigga,
don't
fuck
count?
you, nigga. You ain't did
Of
shit in
course a nigga
boxing.
gonna
So
say
what the
that.
fuck you talking about? I don't give a fuck
Fuck
what
you mean
Shakur
what he
tell me.
do?
Shit, he need me to buy his pay-per-views. Nigga,
All
I
right,
don't need him.
well, your man ain't done
So fuck
shit.
him
So
and
that's
fuck
all
you
that
too.
matter. Your man haven't done enough to ask that man to tell that
Your
man
man
what he
ain't
did.
done enough. Your man ain't done enough.
Well, two
Your
division
man ain't
champion
did
is
shit
better
to
than a
me.
no division
He
champion.
ain't proved.
A
Then who
two
we get it
division
again?
champion is better than a no division champion. That's the problem right there. So he should have took that mill. I'd have took that mill. He should
And
have took
Shakur should have took it. Shakur should have took the 25%
Hey,
then.
y'all,
and
1 second. I'm gonna let y'all continue, but 1 second. I'm gonna just say this one thing right here. I mean, you said Frank should have took that meal, but I'm gonna tell you like this real quick, and I'm gonna let y'all continue y'all little cook. I ain't gonna get y'all debate, but check this out, right? Frank Martin and Earl Spence. Look, Frank Martin has developed the name. He beat RTM Hardison. RTM can beat anybody on Shakur's resume for real. The man has a 236 amateur wins, a bronze medalist, and he was
opinion
12
though,
and 0.
after opinion.
I know. Look, he was 12 and 0, and he's coming from 140. He's a 140 pounder that can make 135 now. And he was 12 and 0 with 7 stoppages. The man's an ex-Olympian. Y'all gotta realize Frank started late. He didn't have the amateur pedigree that Shakur didn't have, but he is Tank's mandatory. He beat Michelle Rivera. That's better than anybody on Shakur's resume. He beat Jackson Mourinez. Frank Martin has been moving up. He's only got he's Shakur's 20 and 0, right? Frank 18 and 0. Frank has been fighting the fights. Frank is Tank Davis's mandatory. Plus, they're on the same side of the street. Tank Shakur is not 85% better than Frank. I'm sorry. I would have gave him the 60-40 or maybe 65-35. I wouldn't give him 85-15. And that's what they was talking about with a 5 million purse and Frank only gets $1 million. That's not right. Especially
He
if I
should
got
take the
my
Tank
guy.
fight
Hold
then.
on, hold
Well,
on,
why
hold on.
don't he go fight Tank then? Go
But
fight. If
this
you over
look,
there with
look,
Tank and you can make the
bro,
fight easy, make a
let me
fight with Tank.
this is what I'm saying. They probably pulled out the fight just for him. You know, he's Tank's mandatory. So they feel like why waste him? Why waste the fight with Shakur when you can build a fight with Tank? And I do believe that they're going to make a fight with Tank coming up after this pit bull because Frank said he wanted to Tank fight. They already got history of sparring. Secondly, Edwin De Los Santos been pushing for Shakur for over a year now,
It's all
and since
good.
they already
Fuck it.
had, and
I
since they
wouldn't
already had him at the table, you know, the PBC and Edwin De Los Santos, he'd be happy to get that paycheck. And so Bob Aaron and Shakur, they don't have to pay De Los Santos as much as they paid Frank Martin. Plus, they still get a great fight because he's only he's right next to the list on the WBC. So you
Right.
know they could have went to purse bid and PBC would have outbid it and took it from Bob Arum, and that would have messed up Shakur's worth. So I feel like they talked it out because You know, the PBC turned right around and gave him another prospect, gave him De Los Santos. So, you know, ain't no hard feelings.
And from my understanding, the fight is the Thursday before Thanksgiving.
It is. It's a Thursday fight.
But and as for this, at the rate Shakur is going, he might as well retire. Because who he gonna fight if everybody ducking him? Who he gonna fight?
Facts.
Why
Like,
should he retire?
no, I'm just being facetious, but I'm saying, like, I'm glad he got a fight so he can stop crying and complaining on Twitter. But
Man.
at
And
the
I'm
rate
my,
glad he
he's
got a
going,
fight. And
who is
like
he
he just
gonna be
said, if
able
he want
to
to
fight?
fight Tank, I say let what's the name fight Tank.
Bob already
Let
said he's not making that
Frank
fight.
I'm not
I
talking about. I
thought
said
Bob
let
said he
Frank
would, man.
fight Tank.
The reason why Bob don't want to make a Tank and Shakur fight right now because Shakur doesn't bring enough to the table to warrant the type of money that Bob wants to make off that fight right there. Coming up to Tank, Tank, and this is what I was gonna say as well. Frank Martin get 80-20 versus Tank. If Tank gives Frank Martin 20% and they do 500,000, Frank Martin will still walk away with well over $10 million, and that's 1,000% more than what he would have got fighting Shakur. And you know it's a bigger name plus the same side of the street. But if Shakur do big and he gets that belt, then Shakur will be coming to the table more. So then he could probably ask for a 75-25 split with Tank. And even if he got 25% of Tank, it'd still be 3-4 times as much money as he's ever made anyway. Tank's the cash cow right now. And you know, to go to Tank's table, you don't want to go to
They
Tank's
might
table.
don't give. They might don't give Tank nothing, even if he. I mean, they might don't give Shakur nothing, even if he get the belt. He's still gonna give him a low offer. Tank and them still gonna give
But this is
Shakur a
what I'm
low
saying.
offer
They can still
for a
give him a
belt.
low offer. Look, they can still give him a low offer, but 25% for a Tank fight is a whole lot different than 50% of a Devin fight. You know what I'm saying? Because you
Right,
got to realize Tank is the cash cow. Tank brings in the money. And
right.
if Tank was to fight Devin and he gave Devin 5%, Devin still would have made more money than he ever made because Tank made 160 million off the Ryan Garcia fight. Do you know
Right.
what 5% of 160 million is?
Oh yeah, there's some serious cash
A
right
lot.
there.
Exactly. So see, you got to realize when you got fighters like Tank and Canelo, and fighters of that type of caliber pay per view, the percentage is a lot different. Like the percentages don't matter as much because you're dealing with a whole different ball game. It's a difference between getting percentages of thousands and percentages of millions. So that's the difference right there. That's why Esau Cruz don't want to fight nobody but Tank. You know, Esau Cruz was making 25,000 a fight. His first fight against Tank, he made 600,000, and he knows the price done went up now. That's why he don't want to fight nobody but Tank. And see, that's why a lot of people don't. That's why I don't understand why Devin didn't take that Tank fight because even if Tank would have gave him 90-10, if he would have gave
I
him 90,
don't think Devin want to fight Tank for real.
I think I'm gonna tell you like this. I
Hey,
think
when
Devin.
was that offered? When was that offered to Devin?
No, this is what I'm saying. Devin didn't even give him a chance to make the offer, and I feel like this. Devin was on a natural high. Devin was using the triangle theory because you know Cambosos beat Tio and Tio beat Loma. So you know in his mind, Cambosos was the best thing out there, and he destroyed Cambosos 2 times in a fight. And you know Devin had a superiority complex, and he felt like, well, if this man beat that man, and I did him that easy, I'm levels above the competition. And then when Devin got that fight with Lomachenko, and it closed the gap, and it showed that he's not levels above like that. I think that
I'm
shook
for,
Devin's confidence right there. And Devin at 135, he gets there with Tank, he's gonna get stopped. He has to fight
I
Tank at
don't
a
think
high
he.
weight class. He has to
I
fight him
don't
at a
think he thought. I don't think he thought Cambosos was the best thing out there, bro. I
he
just think
said he said
Cambosos had what he need. I think Cambosos had what he needed. He wanted to be undisputed, man. I don't think nobody thought Cambosos was the baddest thing out there in
Tio
cruiserweight.
obviously beat
I mean,
himself in that
of
Cambosis
course
fight.
he gonna say that. Of course he gonna
Yeah,
say that when he fighting the guy, because what else is he supposed to say?
But
right. See,
Tio
that's
beat
the
himself
same
in that
thing, and that's
Cambosis
fair. What
fight.
you just said. What you just said is fair because that's the same thing I'm saying. Like with the people that Crawford beat, that he took his belts from. Same way Devin thinking that Cambosis is all that. Like you just said, nobody probably think Cambosis was shit, but he had what Devin wanted. So that's what it.
and he
That's
beat
what
Tio,
the
and he beat
situation is.
Tio that beat Loma. He beat the guy that beat Lomachenko. You feel me? And then when Devin fought Lomachenko, that fight was a lot closer than Devin thought it would be. And that showed Devin that he wasn't off the scale. The scale wasn't as far off as he thought. And Devin showed that he can get hit at 135. So Devin didn't want that fight with Tank at 135. Now I feel like
No.
if he would Tank at 140, that'd be a better fight. But Tank right now has 3 fights that have given him 1 million buys. He fights Teofimo Lopez. That's gonna do 1 million buys right there. Teofimo Lopez
Yep.
is a great fight for Tank.
Yep.
Tank
Yep.
versus Shakur, Tank versus Devin. Each of them fights will do numbers, and Frank Martin. But what people don't
Easy.
realize is Ryan Garcia has turned into a different fighter now. I wish if Derek James give me permission, I'm gonna show y'all footage of it. He's done develop a vicious right to the body that goes along with that left, that whip left, and he's done got faster and he's a lot stronger now. And he keeps his chin up and he has a good guard. And he reminds you of Earl versus Lamont Peterson. He's like he fights like the old Earl does, and he got that jab looking good. And I feel like Ryan, he's gonna go out there, he's gonna beat Roley, and he's probably gonna be another 140 pounder. And him and Tank are gonna get a rematch at 140 because they set it up for that because everybody was saying Ryan was weight drained. And see, Ryan has never really been trained since he been the pros. In the amateurs, Ryan and Devin went 3-3, but he's always had trainers that was slack that didn't keep it on him. Now Ryan is really fully committed to training. So that means him and Devin came in the game with the same attributes, but Ryan had show-stopping power that Devin didn't. And he was faster with the hands than Devin, while Devin had the faster footwork. And Ryan versus Devin would be a big fight at 140. And Devin wouldn't be the A side, Ryan would be because Ryan's coming off a 1.4 million buy. So Ryan would be the A side, but Devin could make some big money in that. And if Ryan beats Devin, or if Devin beats Ryan, the winner versus Tank, that fight becomes that much more bigger.
And I think Ryan's fan base, even if he loses, he's not gonna lose his fan base. Like I feel like he'll
Like
continue
Oscar
to keep
didn't
his
lose his
fan
fan
base.
base. Oscar De La Hoya did not lose his fan base. And see, Ryan's fan base is that much better now that he's finally fighting somebody, and his fan base is seeing the new look of Ryan. And his fan base, that's why Oscar's not trying to let him go because his fan base is brimming with excitement. They want to see Ryan back in the ring now because they've been seeing some of this stuff. And Ryan is going to shock a lot of people out there. And we're now I had said 160 on People's Choice.
Ryan not a bad fighter. I mean, people try to say he a YouTube fighter and this and that, but Ryan was never really
Always
a
like
bad
Ryan.
fighter.
Ryan got
I
some
always
stuff.
was like Ryan. He just needed something
Sharp.
extra. He just was missing something. You know what I'm saying?
wasn't traded.
He
He
need
wasn't traded. That was
application.
his problem. He'd rather do TikToks and stuff. He
Yeah,
was
he
building his brand instead of building his skills. So now he done built his fan base. Now he did it backwards. He built his fan base. Now he built his skills. Well, he should have built the skills, but hey, Ryan's a global superstar now, and him and Tank both superstars. Anybody versus Ryan that's not named Tank will be the B side because that's Ryan. That's why Roley is so mad about the O'Hara Davies fight because Roley knows that he's gonna get 8 figures versus Ryan. Or if we get Ryan versus Tio, Ryan can fight Tio, and there could be an 8-figure fight for Tio.
man, that could be a huge fight.
And that's my issue with Shakur. Like you keep wanting to run around here saying A side, A side, A side. Like, are we even there for you to be doing all that right now? Just take the fights, build your resume up, and then let's do that. Like you trying to do all that stuff too early.
Yeah, he trying to go to the Crawford route. You know what I'm saying? Where his skill set and his effectiveness in the ring doesn't match his market value, and he's trying to.
That's what I said about Crawford.
Yeah, I mean,
He's unmatched in the ring right now. Crawford's unmatched in the ring. He's the A-side boogeyman fighting style, but it doesn't correlate to fans. Like you also have to correlate to fans as well.
And that Crawford play not gonna run like that with Shakur because we've already seen it, and we don't want to see that again. Like you're not gonna be able to pull that over on everybody again.
First of all, Shakur don't have
Shakur's
what
not
Crawford had. Crawford had the last piece of the puzzle for Errol Spence.
Errol Spence, yeah.
So he held that over him. He knew he wanted that. So he knew
And
he
if
had the power. Shakur ain't got that right.
And if
Just
Earl
yet.
didn't want undisputed, that bad, that damn trinket that Crawford had wouldn't have been worth shit. Earl could have bypassed, if he would do what everybody said, he would have bypassed Crawford, and Crawford would have missed out on the biggest payday. Because Earl would have still made money with Canelo, with Tim Tszyu, all them other fights without Crawford.
hey, but to be honest, I believe that was the best thing to happen because now that he went over, he can now tell Shakur because that's his road dog. Hey, bro, you need to come over this way. Because
Shakur
that's
locked
when Shakur gonna get the
in for at
fight.
least 4 years, bro. He locked in
Yeah,
for.
but you got Crawford online talking shit about Al. Like Al not paying him.
What?
No, he wasn't talking about Al. He was talking about the former PBC fighters that sit there and was using the name of Al because he said with Al he can make the fights he wants. So how was they using Al's name? That's what he was basically trying to say. Crawford loves Al right now. Al's promoting that man and giving him a new face, but he's messing up his promotion.
That's the choice.
He's messing up the promotion by doing the things that
Like
he
you
do.
said, talking about who you not gonna fight. Yeah.
See, that's what I said. What PBC has to do is give Terrence Crawford a fight and let him eat what he kills. And what they need to do is let him make his fight and let him see that his market value is not as high as he thinks it is. And that right there will humble him. And I say
But
that
he gonna
Earl
ask
fight.
for a high guarantee. He don't be worried about no back end.
But see, that's the problem. You can't ask for a high guarantee if you're not fighting Earl.
Well, I think that's why he's trying to market it by fighting somebody that he know he can get a big draw with. That's why he's pushing the names that he's
He's
pushing.
not a big enough draw. Rachel Richardson, salute Princess. Canelo said he's not big enough for him to fight. Period.
Yeah,
So
I
Crawford
think
knows that he can't
Canelo
get
will
the
trash Bud. I don't want Bud to do that anyway. Not at 168 at all.
and
That's
Bud
just
is not gonna
shouldn't
get
do.
that guarantee versus Charlo either. Charlo gonna give that man a thing and they gonna talk. And if he don't accept it, Charlo gonna move on because Charlo doesn't need Bud. And see, Earl needed Bud as well because that was Earl's biggest payday as well. So I'm not gonna sit there and say that Crawford was the only person that benefited. Earl got the most money in his career as well
Yep.
in that fight.
Yep.
That was his
oh,
first fight.
most definitely.
They both
Straight
got paid.
up. Yep.
We got to realize both of them got paid on that fight.
It's
And
just that
without
Earl
the
used to
other,
getting paid.
they wouldn't have made that money right there unless Earl fought
Right.
Canelo.
It take two.
Yeah,
Takes two.
Yeah, no doubt,
without
no doubt.
Terrence Crawford, we might say that Crawford got over on Earl and all this, but without Crawford, Earl wouldn't have got that 650,000 buys either.
Yo, and without
Yeah,
that, without that
unless
as
he
well,
fought
I'm gonna
Canelo, and that's not right there. But
yo, Earl versus Canelo, the biggest fight possible for sure.
yeah, Earl versus
For
Canelo
sure.
was the biggest fight. It was destined to do 2 million buys, and Canelo's still entertaining the Earl fact. He doesn't want the Crawford fact because he said,
I think Crawford just trying to say he want that Canelo fight because he know that's what people want to see Canelo and Earl. Because
yeah,
I
but
don't
see,
cause like
people don't
Crawford,
want to
you
see,
not finna go up to 168. Why
but
are you even
people don't want
saying
to
that?
see Crawford and Canelo because Crawford doesn't have the fan base that Earl has, and
Yeah,
he
that's a fact.
just like I wanted to see Earl versus Keith Thurman. I don't care what nobody said. I wanted that fight.
Me
I
I
too.
wish
wanted to see it too.
he would have fought Keith Thurman before he fought Bud at 154. Like they said, I wish he would have fought Keith Thurman at 154. And him and Bud could have fought. Fuck them damn belts. Him and Bud could have fought at 154. But we got what we got. But this is what I'm saying. I always wanted Earl versus Keith since 2017. I'm sorry. That's what I wanted. And really
I
since 2015 when Floyd tried to offer it. But like I
I
said,
mean,
Earl got his biggest payday with Crawford. So, both of them won. But what Crawford don't realize is his marketing value without Earl is not what he thinks it is. Like I said, he's probably a 200,000 pay-per-view buy fighter.
All
I
depends on
don't even think
the
so.
fight though. If we do go up and try to fight Canelo, he gonna make some bank doing that, man. People gonna watch that. I know I'll buy it. I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather see Earl.
Yeah, you're right, Rick
And
Tim.
I'd rather see Earl and Canelo, but I buy Bud and Canelo too.
Yeah, I mean, you would buy it, but Canelo fans really wouldn't want it. Like, they've been
yeah,
wanting
but
Earl. Like, you got to realize Canelo and Earl down in Texas, where Bud and Canelo going to be at? Earl
Vegas.
got his fan base. Canelo got his fan base. Earl has a bigger fan base than Bud. Like I said, period. Bud didn't do the right things coming up to build his fan base up right. Plus, Nebraska fans ain't like Texas fans. And Earl can pack out Dallas Cowboys Stadium. So can Canelo. That fight down in
man,
Dallas,
you put them two together, that's gonna be a
that's
sold
a
out thing.
blockbuster.
That's
That's
who he should have been
blockbuster.
focused on instead of trying to fool with Crawford. After Crawford walked away from them negotiations, he should have just been like, I want this Canelo fight. But what if Canelo lose to Charlo though?
But what if
Even
what
if
if what if
Canelo
they do
loses
have a
to Charlo,
rematch and then he beats him in a rematch? And
even
what
if
if Canelo?
Canelo
Canelo
lost to
too big
Charlo,
for both of them.
even if Canelo
Nah,
lost to Charlo, right?
Neither one
And
of them would
Canelo
beat
lose the
Canelo at
rematch to Charlo,
168.
Canelo fans will still support him.
true, true.
Oscar De La Hoya lost damn near 4-5 fights back to back. He was losing to Mosley, Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather, and his fans
That's
still
the
supported
golden
him
boy.
because he was a
Nobody has a
warrior.
problem with you losing when you losing to top competition. Like, I don't know
Exactly.
why nobody has a problem that Earl Spence lost
I
to
don't want
Terrence
it. I
Crawford.
don't
He's
want to
the
see.
#1
I
pound for
don't
pound.
want to
So
see Earl.
why would he lose his fans? Because he
He's
lost
new.
the undisputed fight. This is the
That's
top
these
fight
new
you can be
casual
in.
I
fans.
don't want to see him lose to Canelo at 168. I don't want to see that because I already know that's what's going to happen. So I don't want to see that. I don't. I'm not into
Who, Crawford or Spence?
Crawford or Spence would lose to him at 168.
Now I
Either
don't
one
think
of them go to 168. I got them losing to Canelo.
because Earl's more comfortable at that heavier weight, bro.
Nah,
Earl,
Earl for
Earl
sure can fight at 168.
yeah, Earl
Yeah,
be
I
beating
don't.
up them damn light heavyweights up there. Earl he got his power in a bottle. That's why
Yeah.
Earl that's why Floyd even came out and said he would like to see Earl at 160 or 168. Because that's where, and I've been saying this for years, that's Earl's best weight is 160, 168. So he can fight the way he wants to fight. He can't fight like he wants to down these lower weight classes. Earl's a big guy. You gotta
Hey,
realize Earl was damn near 200 pounds before the Mikey Garcia fight. That's not no small weight. That's damn 50 pounds he had to cut for Mikey and
I,
Sean.
I see Canelo's last 3 fights being if he want big money fights, it's gotta have to be the Charlo that he's into. I see the Canelo Benavidez being a big fight in the
Oh
in the
yeah,
EJ
that's what
fight.
I want to see. I want to see him
Those
fight Benavidez.
those
But
three I think will be
Benavidez trying to stay away from David Morrell. Because if he gets in the ring with
he
David
better stay
Morrell,
away
David
from
Morrell
him.
gonna stop that Canelo train.
Yeah, he better stay away from his
Like,
ass.
see, I think all of them are kill Spence at 168. Morale,
Yeah, Morrell
Benavidez.
will.
Oh
Yes,
my
but you got to realize
God,
Canelo is not a 168 pounder.
murder.
Canelo is not a true 168. He's a 154, 160-pound fighter. That's why he's
Stop,
not
Shawab.
fighting. That's why he's not fighting Benavidez or Morrell. That's why he's fighting smaller 168 pounders, ones that moved up. That's
Hey,
why he
into
up. That's why he fighting John Ryder. That's why he fought a Caleb Plant. He's not getting in the ring with a David Benavidez. He's not getting in there with people that can blow up to 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Canelo not dumb. He's not dumb. That's why he's fighting the ones that he's
hey,
fighting.
I watched that Mbili Morel fight. I definitely watched that. That would be entertaining.
Oh yeah,
It,
but
it, it won't last
Mbili
long,
gonna
but
get destroyed.
it won't last long, but it'll be entertaining like a
People
mug.
don't realize David Morrell is an anomaly, man. That
Oh
man
hell
has the
yeah!
Cuban boxes. He has the Cuban boxing school with the power of a Tank or a Wilder. Like the man is a monster,
And
bro.
athleticism. Yeah, that dude is
Yes,
legit.
and he's getting better each fight. The man beat that Bossy guy, the #1 contender. He took him and put him in a coma for 2 weeks.
Hey, what I really wanted to say though, because I got nothing but love for my people, man. We should never let the boxing talk get us to the point where we getting aggressive and whatnot, man. Let's keep it respectful, like Shawad said, bro. Because all we doing is exchanging our opinions, and people who we watch fights and do stuff in the ring, man. We don't need to touch it there.
You know something, bro? I understand that too, and I felt like they just was frustrated. That's why I didn't step in because I knew they was gonna work it out like they did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, no, they
sometimes,
definitely
I'm not
like.
sometimes I get
frustrated,
passionate.
bro. I'm not frustrated. It's just that I'm
I didn't say
talking boxing.
frustrated, bro. I
I'm
said
talking
passionate.
boxing. And then when another brother want to take it somewhere else, man, I'm gonna take it there with him. That's just plain and simple. Because I'm a man like them, man. But I
I didn't say
never come
frustrated,
on
bro.
here.
I
I
said
never come on.
passionate.
Oh, well, I never come on here and disrespect no other man over no boxing. Just
Oh
off
yeah,
top.
bro. I know
I
that,
don't
bro.
do that.
Like I said, boxing is a passionate sport. That's why we love it. It's a tribal sport. But sometimes we get out of character. That's why it ain't no big deal. We men at the end of the day, and
Yeah,
men can
fact.
come back from stuff like that. That's why
No doubt.
this is a sports bar. I'm not about to police people here. We grown ass people. You know what I'm saying? We know how to handle our situation. We know how to talk.
Hey, but that's why I come to your channel, because you're the only kind of like far as on the opposite, far as it be on the opposite of a lot of stuff that I think. But as a band, we still can chop it up without getting into all the other dummy shit. So
Yeah,
that's what's
Right.
for sure. That's all I was saying, bro.
That's
Because
how I
I
feel
rock with
about
both
it,
of y'all.
bro. Because at the end of the day, none of us is really gaining nothing monetarily from these boxers directly. You know, we might like them and everything and favor them, but at the end of the day, it's just boxing, man. It's just a
If you
sport.
ain't got nobody to root against and you ain't got no competition rooting against it, it don't make it fun. You feel what I'm saying? I
Right.
like the camaraderie ship. I like being able to root against somebody, talking about this sports shit. That's what I like. You know what I'm saying? So, people argue in sports. That's why it's so passionate. That's why people watch
hey,
sports, because it builds tribalism. It
look,
bonds people. It gets
hey,
your
up, I'm
juices
getting ready
flowing.
to get up. I'm getting ready to get up out of here, right? And I wanted to say that's what's up. Appreciate talking to everybody on the panel today. And bro, who was just talking, yeah, if that was you that I was talking to earlier, as far as we were talking to fuck you bullshit. That's some awesome. That ain't shit. Like he said, man, that's some small talk. It ain't nothing. It was just boxing. That's
Right.
what it is.
Yeah.
I'm buckle up boxing talk though. I'm gonna get back with you, Upper. I'm gonna get back with you when you get back home, bro.
Peace to you, bro. Be safe.
All right.
Uh,
Hey, but just what's really getting to me, man, when it comes to Shakur, man, is just in my opinion, it's the hypocrisy, man. Shakur did the same thing to Frank Martin that Devin Haney tried to do to him, and people don't like it when Shakur on the receiving end, but they love it when he on the giving end. You got to keep it 100 all the way around.
Well, the thing is, Shakur not doing nothing. You don't got no power to write no contracts, to offer nobody no money. He just needs to be quiet. Like, that's what the problem is. He online causing all this chaos and this ruckus. Just be quiet. Like, we don't need to hear every step by step about the negotiations, because you putting out all these false narratives and things like that. Then these content creators grabbing it and they just running in the wind with it. And it's like, it's business. There's no point in doing all this. Shakur don't write no contract. He don't do none of that.
You gotta realize content creators, they're gonna make up their own content if they don't find none. Like, that's what they've been doing. Mike Capture been doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, content creators, they trying to make money off of it. They not keeping it elegant. They not keeping it, they're not keeping it 100. And that's why we have all these bullshit narratives out here. But me, I talk to Derek all the time. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't been able to post or say because he asked me not to, but like he might give me freeway and leeway to do more. But I'm gonna tell you like this. Boxing, it's a sport, just like any other sport, like football and basketball. We like who we like, and people get passionate for who they like. And you can't get mad about who a person likes, because that's the competitiveness. That's what makes sports so great. Because you feel for your team, you ride with your team. You know what I'm saying?
Why they get paid the big bucks too?
Exactly. And
Promotion.
one thing about fighting is called prize fighting. So if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And Mandown, they got Frank's best interest at heart. And if you about to risk your fighter taking a loss, why do it for $1 million when you can do it for 10?
But it's like it's some type of concerted effort to make it seem as though Spence and his team is not okay. I mean, first it was the Earl Spence need to fire Derrick James. Then it was, oh,
No,
Earl getting a new trainer.
let me
Then it
answer
was
that.
stuff like
Let me
all of
answer
that.
that
Like, what
question.
is that about?
All right, you just started with your channel, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you one thing I found out with almost being my second year being on as a YouTube content creator. The content that does the most views is Earl Spence. Earl Spence do more views than Wilder, Tank, Crawford, anybody. Earl Spence has the highest view count. Like I told y'all before, it have been channels that have grown and started behind the Crawford and Spence situations. Like they became monetized and everything within a week behind Crawford and Spence. So they know what sells the fans. Like I do videos on everything, right? And most of the other topics, the other fighters like Morrell, Tank, they don't go over 1,000. Some of them do, But I do stuff on Earl Spence and get over 30,000 views on some things, right? Some of my videos done got over 30,000, but it's on Spence. I've done videos on Crawford, ain't do but like 1,000. I've done video on Tanks that did like 1,000. They have the recipe that people want to hear. Like, people love to hate Spence. They love to love Spence. They love drama. They love controversy. But one thing YouTube creators know is that Earl Spence is where all the content's at. So they will lie and make up content on Earl Spence just to get clickbait, just to get views, because they get paid by the views. Like, you get paid between $5 to $10 every 1,000 views you get. So they trying to get the eyes and the views on the content. So that's why they make like clickbait titles to get you to come look and all that right there. It's a sad game that's out there. But when they start making this about revenue, people got to do whatever they can to get you to click on their thing and look at their thing so they can get paid. So if they can trick you or if they can start a rumor, it ain't about who's right. It's about who's first. Like, you can make up a whole narrative and be dead lying. But if you're the first one to push it and you get somebody to corroborate with what you pushing, then y'all both can go viral and y'all both can get maybe 100,000 views off of that and make a couple $1,000s off a lie.
Facts, like Spence ain't with Coach James no more. Come on, man. As loyal as Spence is, do people really believe that? That's a loyal dude, man. Why would he?
Like, I'm gonna tell y'all like this, and I'm gonna tell you right here: Frank Martin, Derek James, all of them are still great. Charlo has another coach in Juan Guzman, and yes, Frank Martin is looking to get more eyes, and Derek James and Errol Spence is looking to get another coach in there as well, because Derek has been shouldering the load by himself. And it's great to have more than one coach in a gym. Bo Mack and them have four. They have four. So the fact that they are getting another coach doesn't mean that Derek James is getting fired. It means Derek James is still the head trainer. But they're getting extra eyes to work with them as he's worked with other fighters. And see, that's the point that they don't tell you. They don't tell you that. Just like they said, Frank didn't know about the negotiation deal. Earl is his promoter and his manager. So Earl always makes the deals for Frank. Frank don't never have no say-so in them deals. Earl makes them deals, and Frank usually go along with it. He said that before. He said Earl makes the fights, and I just fight. So it's always been like that. That's what people don't realize. And Earl is not going to sit there and cash his fighter out for no bullshit, especially when you got Tank Davis as a mandatory.
Yeah.
And you on the same side of the street with the same advisor. Why go for $1 million when you can get at least no less than 7?
That's what people not considering, that it's the business. They just want to say, oh, Frank Duck, Frank Duck, Frank Duck. Like, guys, like it's a problem, because it's like, well, how come they always want to try to compare situations as if they're the same? Like, well, how come when Crawford did such and such, y'all say he ducked, or how come when this person did such and such? Like, you got to understand, like, the character of these people that we've been watching. It doesn't seem to be in Frank's character to duck a fight. So when you hear that, you're kind of like, I wonder what could have happened. But no, they don't want you to do that. They just want, it's a PBC fighter. He with Earl. He ducked. Like, let's just spread all these rumors and all this shit to make them look some type of way.
They just moved Frank up in the rankings of the WBC. Frank wasn't even fighting in WBC ranking. He was fighting for WBA rankings. That's why he fought Michelle Rivera. That's why he fought Jackson Marinez. That's why he fought that RTM Hartison. Those was WBA fights that made him the mandatory to Tank Davis after Tank fought Ryan. You know, Michelle Rivera was in line to fight Tank. So
how does Tank have a mandatory if
because the
Devin got all the belts?
Because the WBA super belt wasn't the original WBA belt. Like, David Morrell has the WBA World Championship belt. Canelo has the super belt. Devin has the super
belt. Man, I can't keep up with this stuff. What is a super belt?
The super belt is a belt without mandatories. It's just like the franchise belt.
But you just just said Tank got a mandatory.
Tank ain't the super. He's the WBA world champion.
Oh, okay.
Tank really, Devin needed Tank's belt to be undisputed if we wanted to be really factual. But they made the WBA super belt when Lomachenko had got it. And that's how they got the WBA super. But
so what
it
happened
was
to the
really,
franchise belt? Is that still a thing?
huh?
The franchise belt. I haven't heard nothing about that. Is that still a thing?
I think when Devin beat Loma, that franchise stuff went away, and then plus when Canelo captured Undisputed, it went away because he got the real belt.
Yeah. And
They was
see,
using that franchise belt to duck fighters.
they gave Loma the super belt after Linares, so Loma wouldn't have to fight mandatories, and Tank had won the WBA belt. Like, Floyd had the regular WBA belt, but they made the super belt to make fighters on the coincidental list not have to take mandatories. Salute to my guy A1 Hoop Zone. The thing they conquer and divide, tactics, drama, and lies feeds the entertainment of these miserable people who lack common sense and free thinking. I've had my page for a year and a half and seen all the goofies lie. And that's facts right there. That's stone cold facts. I see it all the time. And that's, yeah, Espinosa said it's gone away, but they use belts like that. Yeah, the WBA World Championship is the original belt, but they made the super belt, the WBA Super, so people wouldn't have to make their mandatory fight. And you really, Tank and David Morrell and Tank have the same belt. That's why Canelo
How
doesn't. That's why
how
Canelo
can the
doesn't have,
belt go away? How can the belt go away? How can the franchise belt just poof go
because the
away?
franchise was a mandated belt. You had to ask for it for real. And you remember the WBA had so many belts. They had the diamond, they had the silver. They had to start consolidating them belts because they had went belt crazy out there, having all these people have all these different belts. And that's why Rolly and Tank had to fight, because they had to combine them belts. Because they did it as a fact, because the sanctioning bodies get 3% of your purse whenever you fight with a belt. And see, a lot of fighters are able to command a bigger purse because they have a belt. So see, the fighters and the belts used to work hand in hand. You get more money as a champion fighting than you did as a regular fighter. It's like it added more prestige to it. But now that you got fighters that's not even fighting for the belts and still getting huge paydays, then that set a precedence that you don't need the belts. And now they're starting to rein in the belts, because at one point in a division, WBA had like 5 different belts in one division. So that's when they started consolidating the belts and everything, because it just gets too much after a minute.
Hey, do y'all think that that Spencer bring in another coach to help James with this
Yeah,
upcoming?
I think they
And
looking
who do you
into it as
think?
well. I think they said
Uh,
they're gonna talk to Calvin Ford. But
And
yes,
I think that'll be good. I think Calvin Ford will be
especially if they
good.
got Tank helping them train as well, because you gotta realize one coach can't see everything. And 2 minds is always better than one. 2 minds is always better than one.
couldn't that be
If
a conflict though with Calvin Ford, because Spencer's fighter want to fight his fighter?
I mean,
No.
not really, because I'm gonna tell you like this: Frank Martin doesn't have to be there when they're training Spence. They each have different. They have different slots. They have different time slots. Like Derrick James has them all coming in at different times.
I did a video about that on my page
And I'm
about
gonna tell you like this: Frank Martin has been in training camp with Tank before. I mean, they used to spar,
Right,
so
right.
they're
But
already familiar with each other.
fight Tank though,
Huh?
and then they were saying how they just come in the gym, watch them spar and stuff. So Frank will still be around.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
but
they not
I mean,
train they training Spence. They not working with Frank.
and they're not doing all Tank stuff. They're training Spence. They got Tank in there helping Spence go over his defensive problems. So they got Tank fighting a certain way to help Spence. That's not Tank style. You feel me? That's
right.
not
So
very.
Let me ask you a question. What percent, like, if you had to say, um, like, what percentage do you think the weight drain had on Spencer's performance? Like, would you say, like, if he wasn't weight drain, he would have been 60% better? Like, what? Because I understand he do have some things he needs to change, but he wasn't even able to really fight like himself.
I'm gonna tell you like this: it all played a fact. I think the fact that he was weight drained for one, right? For two, I think it's the fact that his body hasn't been cutting weight. So, he ain't used Justin James salute, King. So he wasn't used to cutting that weight. So, like I told you before, as you get older, your body has to run off habit. So I feel like he wasn't used to cutting that type of weight. And his body wasn't prepared for that. And for two, I feel like, he's been at the weight for too long. And for three, it's coming out that he wasn't able to spar because of his rib injury. So he wasn't even able to get the cobwebs off. But I feel like it all played a part in it. The part was that, he was arrogant and he didn't take the tune up like they said. And he should have been past 147. Like I said, Bud's in his third division. Earl's still in his first division.
But is the injury healed? Has the rib injury healed?
I mean, it'll take but like a rib injury ain't nothing but like 8 to 10 weeks. So by the time he gets in the ring, it'll be straight.
Yeah, but I understand by the time he get in the ring, but what about the preparation? How is he going to be able to prepare properly?
How long has it been since they fought?
About a month.
It was the end of July,
Almost
right?
a month. Almost a month, yeah.
Okay, we done went through whole August, right? It's almost the end. It's almost October now, right?
Middle of September, about a month and a half, maybe.
It's done been over 6 weeks since they fought. You feel me?
Right.
So his rib injury is healed already. That's 6 weeks.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, but I'm hearing that Bud saying if Spence want to fight at 154, he need more money. Did you hear
and
that?
that's what I was talking about yesterday and earlier today. Like, that's why I said Bud and his antics, he started making where people are losing faith in him. And that's what we was talking about earlier. Like, now he back on that bull jive. Like, come on, guy. Like, you just got everything you wanted and you talking about fighting at other weights. Now you don't want to get in the ring with Earl because you want more money? No. You don't even deserve more money. You got everything you're going to get that first fight. And look, y'all split the shit again. If not, walk away from the fight because I guarantee Bud won't get that money versus nobody else.
Yeah, because they already had it in the contract that the winner is the clear A side. So Bud is automatically going to get more money. So
No.
Not if it was 50-50. He not getting no more money.
He got 50-50 in that fight. It said the winner gets to pick the weight.
They said, I don't know if y'all heard that, bro, but in the last fight, they said whoever wins this fight is the clear A side.
But guess what? They can say that all they want to, but if Spence don't make the fight, Bud ain't gonna get the money.
Right.
Bud is not a bigger seller than Spence.
No. What I'm saying is, they said that whoever wins the fight is going to be the clear A side. So the A side, of course, is going to get more money than the B side.
No, that's what they said, bro. Bro, listen, that's
on top of that, though.
I know if they can say it off of that, but Bud's his popularity didn't transcend like that. So
I know that you know that upper, but we know how Bud is. He's delusional, bro.
And that's why I said PBC's not gonna play with him this time. If he doesn't want to make the fight and do it fair, then they're gonna let him make a fight and he eat what he's killed, and he's gonna see his true marketing value. And then he's gonna come back a lot humbler. So it's best that he go ahead and do it now, or the price won't be the same because he can go do a fight and Earl can go do a fight. And I'm pretty sure Earl will do better numbers because Earl has a loyal fan base.
We know Bud don't care about that. He'll go off and fight another Avanesian. And
but guess what? You won't get the money if you gotta see. He's not getting guarantees like that now. You over here at PBC, you get a small guarantee and you eat what you kill. So if Bud doesn't, they did that because it was a big fight. But Bud know he got to get that back end money now. So if Bud doesn't kill and be successful, then he won't eat the way he wants to eat. And that's just the way PBC is. They don't give a damn about what Bud's saying. They're not going to lose money. So if he doesn't go out there and put up a great fight or sell, and his numbers ain't what he think it is, then it's going to show him that he's not the clear A side like he wants to be. That's why that's why they're doing all these press tours, and they trying to promote Bud, because they're trying to build him. They trying to build him.
Yeah, but you on the interviews saying everything you know you're not finna do. I don't think Bud realizes that contradictory stuff he be doing. It makes people not want to pay attention to you.
Bud thinks any type of publicity is good publicity, and at one point it was, because that's how Floyd, he had more people hating him than loving him, and that's how he got rich. And
but it wasn't manufactured.
Huh?
It wasn't manufactured though.
Yeah, but see, Bud just got paid, and he's trying to get. See, he's harboring so much jealousy because, you know, he wants to be bigger than Spence. Like, he beat Spence, but he's still in Spence's shadow. Like, Spence is still the bigger draw, and that fucks with Bud, because he like, damn, I done beat this man and everything. I'm 2 times undisputed, and he's still a bigger draw, and that fucks with Bud, his ego, and that's why I'm saying, like, they gonna show it. Bud ain't gonna fuck EJ over this time, because PBC ain't gonna let it. EJ can walk away, go to another fight, let Bud go out there and eat what he killed, and after Bud just seen that paycheck he got from Earl, he not trying to go back to those 7-digit fights. After you done made 8 figures, you're not trying to go back to 7. I'm gonna tell you that now. That's why Devin Haney trying to get him and Regis on pay-per-view. Once you become a pay-per-view fighter, you're not trying to go back to free TV. It's hustling backwards, and he ain't trying to do that. But dang, it's 4:35, man. We cutting into my guy Just Do time, man. Y'all both get y'all last thing, drop your link, and let's go over there with my boy Just Do. I don't like to cut in his time. Peace and well, I'm gonna give mine after you. Go ahead, 2 Cent.
Thank you. What up? It was good cooking with y'all today. I don't be done working till about 2:45, so that's why I be hopping on here, and then it be time to hop off. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all check out my channel, 2 Cents Boxing. I just dropped the link below. Make sure y'all leave a comment and let me know what y'all think.
All right. Shout out to my guy A1 Hoops on again in the super chat. Y'all gotta remember, Bud don't give no fucks what anyone thinks, including his own fan. He moves how he wants, when he wants, any direction. PBC only care about the money and nothing else, and that's facts. Big Dose, give your last shout out, bro.
Hey, I just want to say salute to your upper man. Thank you for letting me come on and cook, you know what I'm saying? And y'all, let's just keep this thing boxing, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all it should be about. You know what I'm saying? We all brothers. And that's what it should be, man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Facts. And I just like to thank each and every...
Y'all go subscribe to me, man. You know what I'm saying? And
you got to tell them now, Big Dose?
2 Cents.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Big Dose. Let me make sure I'm subscribed to Big Dose. Oh yeah, I'm already subscribed. Okay. But peace and blessings to everybody out here. I appreciate y'all for coming through. You know, as always, you know, we come on after KQKC now. That's our new time. But peace and blessings to all of y'all, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all that's come out here. Every one of y'all that's been through with me when y'all know my situation. We growing as a channel. I'm gonna start back pushing out these videos so we can get a couple more thousand in the chat room and everything. You know, by next year we're gonna be a force over here. And I already got my mods. Peace and blessing to everybody out there. Thank you, Shawar, Coach Amber, Big Dose, all y'all, A1 Hoop Zone. Now, y'all make sure y'all hit the like on the way out the door. And y'all, my boy Just Do, he over there doing his thing, giving boxing is Just Do. So, I mean, if you ain't got nothing else to do, go over there and see my man Just Do, because he be making it happen over there, man. Peace and blessing to all of y'all. We about to blow up out of here, people. And I'm out.
Hey, ha ba ba ba. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sonny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get the squeeze and leave a nigga. smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. Raw Molly got me all up in demon mode. Mouth moving like I done put clean in my nose. Tryna catch me up, I can leave with some hoes. He standing straight up, watch I make him lean with this pole. Would've thought he was closed, how that heat made him fold. Thought it was a game, he won't think no more. His brain's gone, nigga. It be exciting when I get to striking. Guns sound like thunder, hit you like lightning. Fight for your life, we don't do no fighting. We really hit it, nigga. We worse than savage, they calling us Vikings. Police be riding, we still be sliding. Told you we hitters, remember the time. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get to squeeze and leave a nigga bleeding. Hop out and leave them holding like the Bible. AR-15, that's a high-power rifle. A in the army and assassinate rivals. Break that shit down, nigga. AK or anybody kill. Hop out, get the drilling and spilling. Stay on point, 6-2 gon' split. LPN, that's for any fuck nigga. You a plug, then I'm pulling up, nigga. You my lunch, eat these bullets for dinner. 5.0, eat 'em up, eat 'em up. SK, smoke killer for show. Drum rounds and cripple ops Draco. I got 'em all, you don't want no. I got all those shit, nigga. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding. I get this pussy, leave a nigga bleeding. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, bitch, I got it for 'em. They want that smoke, you know I blow it. They call me Sunny Monster for a reason. I'm really dripping, leave a nigga bleeding.